Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are excited as it comes.
It's a new year.
It's a new year. It's a new time. We're going to release this pretty much right at the new year, at the turn of the new year. A new year, new Crime and Sports. We're at a new network now, so we're very excited about that. We're on mid-roll here, so this is going to be very, very fun. We have one of the crazier stories ever today. We were saving this for the transition because this is a wild, wild story that people have obviously requested because it's
a million times.
It's batshit.
Yeah.
It's batshit, the whole thing, and we'll get into it. But before we do that, thank you guys for your iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell you want to call it, reviews this week, reviews on whatever platform you listen to. They always help drive us up the charts, so thank you for doing that. If you haven't yet, give us 5 stars if you would, and it doesn't matter what you say. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions, everything like that. Doesn't matter. It's not for our egos. It's just to drive us up the charts as far as that goes. If you want to be an even better person, let's put it that way, you can go over to shutupandgivememurder.com and get everything crime and sports and small town murder related. There's new live shows up posted for Small Town Murder. These January 25th in Seattle,
right,
and also February 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida. Those are Small Town Murder live shows, and tickets are available
right now
for those right now on the site. Get over there, get all your merchandise, get some t-shirts, get all stuff like that. Those tickets, though, very important that you get those tickets. You need to get those because otherwise empty rooms suck.
Right.
So make the room full.
Don't make us look like assholes.
They'll make us look like jerks. We're like, no, people like us.
They do. We swear.
Come and see us. Yeah. So do that, please. Get all your Small Town Murder, crime and sports related merchandise and information there. Other thing you can do over there, you can take a jaunt, a one-click jaunt on over to patreon.com, and you can make a donation there, patreon.com/crime and sports. That link will take you to, or you can go over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. And with that good stuff out of the way, man, do we have a wild one today.
I'm excited.
A wild one today, as always. Whenever it's a lady, it's always a wild episode. For some reason, there's not a lot of lady sports criminals.
Ladies break the law in like epic fashion.
That's the thing. It's weird. There's not a lot of them, as we found. It's one every once in a while.
But when they do.
But boy, when they're there. And I'm noticing a pattern, too, which is the other weird thing. And we'll find out. We'll talk about it during this episode.
How many have we had? We had Kelly Lane. We had the bodybuilder Sally.
We had Sally McNeil. We had Tammy Sitch.
And I think that's it.
Is that it? I know
might be it.
I know we're missing one.
Are we?
I know we're missing one.
I don't know.
Well, she was with Titus, though.
Oh, yeah. The bodybuilder chick.
Yeah. She was with Titus.
That's still, I guess she counts, too.
She sort of counts, I'm trying to I feel like we're missing one, and there's been so many episodes now that I can't
We're closing in on 200,
This is 143.
Okay, so we're closing on 150,
Closing in on 150. We're coming strong. Scummies are coming up in a while here, so stay tuned for that. Probably I think it's next month. In February, we do the Scummies. On our year anniversaries, we do the Scummy Awards, which are always fun.
How crazy is it that Tammy Sitch is like the weakest of those criminals, though?
Oh, yeah.
And her crimes were
not.
They're not vicious by any sort, but they keep coming. They don't stop.
We have a Tammy-ish situation going on here with less.
Sitch?
We have a stitch of a sitch right here. It's a stitch of a sitch. Just a drop. White trashery, thick today.
Oh, great.
Thick like a forest that someone would live in like a tree stand. That's
with a fog.
Let's talk about it. It's Tonya Harding, everybody.
Yes.
Holy shit. Tonya Maxine Harding.
That's her middle name.
Maxine with an E, not even an I in there.
Really?
No I's in that one, just Maxine.
Hold on, spell that.
Maxene.
Eesh.
Maxine. Yeah, it's she comes from a tough situation.
Okay.
She comes from a tough situation. She's the type here where, God damn it, like I remember when this would happen. Okay, we won't spend the whole time talking about the Olympics and the clubbing and all that kind of shit, because that's
minuscule.
That's been covered enough, and there's so much other crazy shit going on that we don't need to spend that much time on that. I mean, we'll spend some time on it, but
sure.
I mean, honestly, we could do 3 hours on just the crime, because it's been the only thing more documented and more like step by step is OJ.
Trial.
The OJ trial. That's literally the only thing that's been more like, it's one little crime and every drop of it. I know every second. I can account for every second of everybody's days and the leading up to it. It's too much.
Now,
we'll do a broad stroke on that
real
one.
quick. Leading up to the Olympics that year, that was like the main coverage was those two.
That's
right?
all it was.
That's all it was. That's all they talked about was like the competition between the two. So when one of them is clubbed.
Well, that sparked that talk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, was this?
It wasn't that?
We'll talk about it, but it's not. It's more. We'll focus more on her and how this affects her than this crime, and because then there's so much more. This is just a disaster, and it's going to be a classic. We'll put it that way.
That time period, there was so many ridiculous news articles.
Well, when that was all over, then OJ started up, because it was literally right at the end of this, like a month later, there was the OJ car chase. So it was
Lorena Bobbitt was like a week before this shit.
It was every week was a new TV movie of the week about something that just happened. How did they film this? This happened yesterday, and they already have a whole movie shot somehow.
Yeah.
It's incredible. 14 Joey Buttafuoco movies, Amy Fisher movies.
That too.
The 90s were amazing. For sleazy trash TV, you couldn't be. There was 45 talk show, Ricky Lake and Montel and Rolanda and Richard Bay. Every bit of insanity going. Not to mention, obviously, Jerry Springer or those. But I mean, this was the time when the most voyeuristic. Now we have reality shows, and it's all, but none of that's real. That's all staged.
Reality, right?
That's all staged.
Right.
This was the dawning of actual reality. Of like, I want to see what people are doing. Let's follow them around with cameras, even if they don't want us to.
The purest form of reality TV was the early 90s.
Yeah, follow Joey Buttafuoco in his auto shop while he's got his Zubas in his fanny pack. Follow him into there with a camera while he goes, all right, quit breaking my fucking balls. That's reality TV. Yeah. It's not the Kardashians having a staged event. So...
I love that when Amy Fisher, like her rebound from all of that was going into porn. That's fucking beautiful.
That seems to be a common thing. A Tammy, that was her. Tammy said it seems to be. Well, you know what it is if there was any interest. Even John Bobbitt, the guy who got his cock cut off, he went to porn too. If that's your only move and it's possible for you, that's what people do. It's just more possible for women because nobody cares if nobody cares to see a guy fuck.
Right, we're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, unless something happened to his dick, like John Bobbitt was like, let's see if it works. Look at it, it still works. That was the whole point. Going. It wasn't even impressive. It was just the fact that it was there and operational.
The impressive part is that they found it, put it back on, and operations. No way.
That's crazy.
It finishes.
Medical science.
Get
baby.
the fuck out of here.
Medical science. So Tonya Harding, she's born November 12th, 1970, in Portland, Oregon. She's a Northwest girl. Okay. She's a Portland girl. She comes up tough. I will say that. She has a tough upbringing. She has an upbringing much like I know a million people that have her exact upbringing. Family life's kind of a mess. She's your kind of girl, Jimmie. We'll say that. She grew up in similar situations. Like, she just got 3 half brothers, and we'll talk about that. I got half brothers and sisters, and things coming in and out, and it's a tough life. Broken home, but hers, it was mainly her parents were broken before her.
Really?
Mainly, as we'll talk about here. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Lavona Golden was her mother, and Albert Harding was her father. Yeah. She's raised in East Portland. She began skating around 3 or 4. So very early ice skating. If you know nothing about Tonya Harding, she's an ice skater.
Right.
And figure skater to be exact. And it was a pretty fucking good one.
Really good.
And we'll talk about all this. She started at age 3 training with Diane Rawlinson, which I guess was a good coach there. She also, though, was a proprietor of the Redneck Arts, of all Redneck Arts. She is a kind of a country kind of girl at heart. This is your kind of girl. She she hunted. She liked to drag race. She knows how to. She can take a car apart and put it back together. Chain smoking by the time she's 11. I'm not kidding. She's a hardcore. She's like, you'd look at her like 11 and go, this girl's going to be a coal miner for Christ's sake. You want a shot of whiskey? Hey, fella, you want some whiskey? Like, you're a tough broad.
She's calling her dad a pussy.
Yeah, come on, pussy. I want 3 fingers. What are you doing? 3 fingers of Johnny Red. Right. Let's go.
That's horrible.
Sorry. It was an opportunity like that will never come up again. To make a joke that actually worked and also was gross. And
it worked
in that capacity. That's never going to come up again. I kind of had to do it. I'm sorry. My comedian brain went,
oh boy.
This is never going to happen again. Say it. So, she was asked later, and there's interviews that we'll talk about that turned into a book later that are self-serving, we'll say, but also interesting and some factoids you get out of it.
Like her own words?
Her own words, and, there's a lot of in their own words, as a matter of fact. We'll try to keep them to a minimum or else there'll just be 50 of them, so I'll pick and choose a couple real choice ones here. They were asked if she knows what her family is, basically. She's just a blonde girl. Yeah. She says, quote, that she's always heard she was a Heinz 57.
What the fuck does that mean?
Apparently means a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, okay.
Russian, German, French, Canadian. She thinks possibly Eskimo was mixed in there, she said, in her words here. She said, I don't know where that would come from, but it's the things that I've heard in my life. So she could use 23andMe right now.
Okay.
I feel like is her issue. She needs a swab. I'm sure she's done it by now. She was asked if she has any half brothers or sisters. She says, my mother had 3 boys and a girl plus me. So I guess 3 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
At that point.
What is she doing?
I don't know. This is, she's.
My mom had 3 boys and a girl, and then whatever the fuck I am.
And then me also. And then Tonya.
Right.
I am Tonya. So, she had 3 boys, 2 girls. She said, quote, her first marriage, her mother's first marriage, she wasn't married very long. Her second marriage, she had twin boys. One of them died shortly after birth from crib death. She knows the symptoms.
Yeah.
Knows the symptoms.
They call it crib death?
Is it the crib death?
The crib just fucking stomp that kid to death?
Man, that crib, man. I came in there. I put the baby in the crib, and I walked out. I figured he'd be sleeping. I came back. That fucking crib was on top of him and claiming victory. And I'm like, that's fucked up.
It's really doing a showboat dance over his lifeless body.
It's really, and he looked like he spiked a ball on him. It's like, it's a little over
Iverson
the top.
Stepped over him.
He's getting 15. If I'm flagging him for that bad boy. So they used to call SIDS crib death.
That's weird.
That's what that was like the non-medical term for she had crib death.
Yeah.
So she got the SIDS. Nobody would be like, what the hell's that? Sudden something. Right. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Crib. She died in the fucking crib. You know the symptoms. That is a callback from our last Crime and Sports episode where
I love it more than anything.
Somehow we discussed SIDS for 15 minutes and it was funny. I don't know how we did it.
It was riveting.
It was amazing. That's the thing. When it presents itself, you gotta take it.
You swing that bat.
Yeah, she said one of those boys died from crib death shortly after birth. She said the other one, I think, was in his 30s and he died.
Jesus.
And her daughter, I'm not sure if she's in her 30s now, but I have no idea where she is. Hawaii or someplace, who knows? Her other son, I have no idea where he is either. She said that my sister was kicked out of the house at 12 or 13 or 14, early teens. Quote, she was a hooker and married to different kinds of people, and I have no idea where she is today. I saw her a couple times back in 93 and once in early 94. So,
married to all kinds of people?
Is a hooker, in her words. A hooker married to different kinds of people.
Okay.
Which I don't know if this is at the same time, if that means like just a racial grab bag. Or
maybe she means every night.
A short guy and a tall guy, or like 2 ladies and a fat guy. I don't know what. She's married. Different kinds of people.
Every night, different kinds of people.
Different, like circus performers. Right. They're different. They're different kinds of people. I don't know who the fuck these people are.
That's bananas.
But she was kicked out of the house in her early teens to get into prostitution and marrying.
To pursue her career.
Different kinds of people. Yeah, apparently. I don't know what it is here. So this, obviously, she had a crazy upbringing.
Clearly.
And just in and out. We'll talk about other things happened too. Her mother, we don't know whether to call it abusive or not. And she doesn't kind of know whether she calls it abusive, but then other people are like, it's not really abusive, but then abuse is kind of in the eye of the beholder.
Sounds like neglectful at minimum.
Well, she's not neglectful though. Okay. The mother isn't, because the mother, she actually, has a hard time supporting the family. She works as a waitress. She hand sews skating costumes for her daughter and drives her to skating things and takes all her money and puts it in
I'm sure
skating.
That's expensive.
This is the thing. This is why you want to root for like Tonya Harding back in the day, and you wanted to root for her because if you saw those, they do the Olympics, with these piano music and they'll tell you their story.
Sure.
Like most of the people, not most of them, but a lot of the people in like figure skating they're
well-to-do people.
To be able to ice skate a lot, just to be able to know that you have aptitude for that. I'm not rich enough to know if I was a great. I could have the most figure skating talent ever. It's just never been unlocked because I've never had ice skates on my feet because my parents were like, we're not fucking taking you there. Ice skate rentals, $2. Fuck you. Wasn't happening.
Right.
If I was wealthy, I would probably have access to ice skates.
You'd own your own.
I'd have my own ice skate, or whatever. But it's just, how often were you taking ice skating as a child, Jimmie?
I've skated once in my life at a company picnic for my mom's company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. Like,
that's what it was.
You weren't as a child. No one said, "Let's see if if your feet are gifted on the." No one said that. They said,
I think I was 19.
Watch cartoons while I do shit. That's what they. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not. So
I can do it. I'm not bad at it.
I assume I can roller skate.
Hard.
Is it?
It's really not that hard.
Everyone's told me it's easier than skateboarding.
Yes,
so I was like, okay, I was good at skateboarding, so I feel like I could pull that off.
Yeah.
I'm good with balance shit like that. So all right, that's fine.
You can probably do it backward.
Ice skate.
It's not that bad.
Not that bad. All right. Well, but that's what I mean though. But if you don't grow up a certain way though, you have no idea what you're capable of. And they went out of their way, in Lavona especially, the mother went out of her way to figure it out, to get her there. She made the costumes because she couldn't afford to buy her any, and all the other kids had costumes when they did their routines, so she had to have a fucking costume too.
Sure.
She figured it out. That's what a mother does. But at the same time, she was excessively, later on, as Tonya puts it, quote, she was real strict on me, as she puts it. She is a redneck through and through, this girl, by the way.
Lavona or her, or Tonya?
Everybody involved in this story, besides Nancy Kerrigan, is a complete redneck. Everybody.
Besides Nancy Kerrigan.
It's like, if you see a pool and you see levels and it's like there's 3 feet, 5 feet. This is the deep end, 12 feet of hillbilly. This is some shit.
In a trailer park.
She says, and her friends, like one friend says that she saw in a door one time her mother hitting her with a hairbrush and yelling at her for something. But it's not so much physically abusive. It's sort of mentally abusive and controlling. Her mother is with her. And I don't know if her mother said, okay, all my other kids, my one daughter's a fucking prostitute.
Right.
My sons, I don't know where they are. This one's, had the symptoms in the crib over here. Maybe I'm going to make sure to keep this one close to the vest, and I don't know how to do that because
I'm just going to beat it safe.
I wasn't. I'm going to beat it safe. I wasn't raised properly, so I don't know how to do that. So I'll just beat it till it's safe. Yeah, I'll yell at it till it's afraid to leave. Well, I feel like that's what it is, though, here. Listen to what she says. She says, they asked, was your mother abusive? Did she call you names? Yeah. And she says, she said, quote, oh, always. I am fat. I am ugly. I can eat this. I can't eat that. You're not going to amount to a hill of beans. My mother was an alcoholic, a very bad alcoholic, filling up a thermos 3/4 or half full with brandy, and the rest was coffee at 4:30 in the morning to take me to the rink. She would drink all that, and then once we got home, or after she got home, because there was a lot of times I didn't go to school, she would be drinking again as soon as she got home, and it made life very hard. You never knew what was going to happen.
What do you expect from a lady who's
she's had a hard life?
Yeah, and
clearly
she's She probably blames herself for the crib death.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to happen.
Oh, any parent, I would think, would be, I should have just stared at the baby till it fucking woke up in the morning. I would kill myself.
You got one that
go crazy
ran
over
out
that.
as a prostitute. You're going to feel like a piece of shit. It would take a thermos of coffee and brandy to get my ass out of bed, too.
And you're going, and I'm sure she didn't enjoy sitting at the ice rink for 2 hours at 4:30 in the morning.
Got to drink booze to stay warm.
That's the other thing here. She said, though, it was also physical, but mostly psychological abuse. She said it was a regular part of her life. Later on, her mother will admit to one instance of hitting her while they were at the ice rink for something. But also, and I don't mean to defend child abuse ever, but if you have a mother who's had a hard life and she's half drunk on brandy and she's driving you to the rink and she has no fucking money and she made you this guy, she might just snap once in a while and smack you. Not that that's okay, but you go, fuck yeah, I understand.
Especially if Lil Tonya might be acting a smidge ungrateful.
That's who knows? Yeah, that's the other thing. Who knows? Like we said, don't beat your kids ever, but we're trying to find a reason for it, if not an excuse anyway. She was known as really competitive, really competitive at her, and you have to be.
Shit, yeah.
You can't, people can make their kids pawns for whatever they want. I want my kid to be a football player. Great, you can go sign him up for football and all that. But if he's not insanely competitive, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
He's going to play till they're in 9th grade, and then they're going to go, other people are competitive, and I don't feel like competing that hard in this. I don't care about that.
I remember when I was littler, and I was just bigger than everybody else, and now everybody got growth spurts. Now it's tough.
Yeah, and some people just have that thing where if you smack them in the mouth, they're like, I need to fucking rip your head off, and I have to get in there and you're competitive. And then some people are just like, not for me.
Yeah.
She apparently was in the, this is all I'm going to do. Okay. I'm very competitive. A lot of people who even like her later on, who grew up with her and were kind of, she was really seen as like this figure that emerged from shit, basically. Like, she was seen as like,
I just saw something really gross.
I just saw John Goodman raising Arizona. Instead of mud, just a huge pile of shit emerging.
Just a big shit.
That's how they all describe it. They all describe it like, we're from a poor area and she came out and did this fancy thing. Like, she didn't play football or something like that. This is some like highfalutin shit here that they do at the Olympics and wear sequined costumes, and not usually a thing that somebody from around here and just in their socioeconomic sphere does. So a lot of people are proud of her, but they also said she had an attitude problem as a child.
You think?
Yeah. They said a lot of people said they weren't real surprised about her just general problems because of her attitude problems. One of her friends, or I guess a person that used to skate with her at Milwaukee High School, a woman named Jenna Halas Dumas, she said, quote, being number one was always on her mind. She used to say things like, oh, I'm prettier than you. She was never anything close to being a princess. It's sad she had so many hopes and dreams. So
she didn't know how what her face looked like.
No, well, she's super competitive.
Yeah,
too.
Well, my boy swims, and he is insanely competitive. When we go to these meets and stuff, he's like sizing up other kids.
You have to be.
And if he wasn't, we'd fucking quit in a second.
Well, there's no point to it at that.
Leaving town, booking a hotel room, and sitting by a goddamn pool for a weekend.
And people do that. They just force their kids to do it, and their kids miserable, and they don't give a shit. And they're the ones who are competitive
because they didn't do whatever.
Yeah, or they did even worse.
And
or worse,
failed,
they did. Yeah, or worse, succeeded.
Oh, yeah.
Then or even more. You can just do it. Just do it. I don't understand.
I did it.
I don't
What's wrong
understand
with
why
you?
you can't just do this. What's wrong with your shitty body? I gave it to you. Now use
it. Yeah.
Christ,
you got
almighty.
half of me, and I'm a winner.
Fucking
you
pussy.
got half a winner in there.
Half
at least.
a winner. This one I don't know about. She's a pain in the ass, but I'm a fucking winner. Awful. That's, there's fathers that do
there's so many.
So, 1985, 1986, she's 15 years old here, and she's skating her little heart out here. She competes in the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, which is a big goddamn deal.
What year?
This is 85.
Okay.
U.S. Figure Skating Championships. It's that she's going to be in it every year, so I'll explain it. It's obviously a big figure skating competition. It's held annually to crown the national champion of the United States, or champions in the different genders and whatever. It's sanctioned by U.S. Figure Skating, and it's referred to as the Nationals by everybody. So there's like two things below the Olympics. This is like two below the Olympics.
And where's it held?
It's all over the place,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Right.
So she finishes 6th that year.
Her
but
first
she's
time.
15. Yeah, she's a kid. I mean, Christ, good for her for trying. You know.
Mm-hmm.
She also competes in the U.S. Olympic Festival tournament this year, which is a tournament that they just call the U.S. Olympic Festival for some reason.
Has nothing to do with it?
No, it's not at the Olympics.
Okay.
It's I don't know why they do that, but she finishes 5th in that. 5th in that. Now, 86 comes around, so she's getting into this competitive skating thing. She's starting to be known, and this is the time too where when they're this age, this is where they start noticing them as prospects for future Olympics and things like that. And she's being noticed nationally as a kid who, hey, she could have some promise come 92, maybe 94, things like that. You never know here. So also she's having problems at home that are nothing to do with her, or not her fault at all, namely her alcoholic mother and problems like that. Even worse, her half brother Chris, who molested her, according to her. Yes, she claims that he molested her. The mother says that this never happened, but we can't really believe the mother on
Mom,
this.
you can't do that.
You can't do that, one. And number two, she was drunk this whole time.
Yeah.
By her own admission and Tanya's. So you have no idea what was going on behind your back.
He forgot a baby.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So apparently she said he had done this a few times, and this was she hated his guts. Tonya called the police in 1986 after apparently this Chris had been sexually harassing and terrorizing her, the way she put it.
Gross.
He ended up being arrested and actually spent a short time in prison for this. And now Tonya claims that her parents were in complete denial and told her not to press charges against him. So her parents were going, don't press charges against him. You're just going to,
Scumbags.
Yeah, you can't fucking do it. They just don't want to deal. I'm sure they have to pay for something too with court. And I'm sure it's just easier for them if we just said, hey, let's just forget this whole thing ever happened. And I don't know why they wouldn't just say, hey, stop molesting my fucking daughter. And I don't know why that didn't come up.
How about not just my daughter, stop molesting your sister.
Your sister. Your half sister, you're gross.
That's disgusting.
That is very disgusting. And fuck, man, that's the worst. And she and the parents weren't in any place to notice it, apparently. So between working and drinking, and
that's the other part, is that Lavona should have just been like, listen, put him in jail because the money that I was spending on his mouth for food, I can now spend on better brandy.
My mouth for booze.
Right.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, and better costumes for her to ice skate in.
More thread.
I'm spending your food money on ice skating costumes for your half sister that you diddled, you fucking asshole. Let him sit in jail. Jesus Christ. At this point, too, she began a relationship of her own, a new relationship. She begins a relationship with a 17-year-old boy named Jeff Gillooly. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, if you know the story,
it sure the fuck does.
This is a bad cocktail, this relationship. And it really is, too. These two, I mean, they fall in love and all that, and we often see these things when people fall in love as teenagers. That doesn't mean you should be together forever.
Not always.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It probably means you should be together about 6 months. And then take it all as a learning experience and move on to the next person. Try not to fuck whatever you fucked up in the last one up in this one.
Right.
You do that for a while till you're like 30 maybe. Figure it out. But yeah, other than that, this is a different thing. They get together and they have a very much just fiery.
Oh, it's volatile.
Attractive. And then they, they're like magnets. And when you turn them around and they fucking go against each other and shoot into the wall. That's what happens with these two. 86-87 season, I guess, skating season. She skates in the Skate America, which is, and we'll talk about this because she does some crazy shit in this later on, this competition. Skate America is an international senior level figure skating competition. It's held as part of the ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating series, and it's hosted by U.S. Figure Skating. So this is all U.S. figure skating. They have their fingers and everything. For honestly, I was going to say lack of a better term, but honestly, I don't trust any of these fucking people. So
some of them have the fingers in the skaters,
especially after the Mandy Malone situation and all this. I don't trust any of these people. But she doesn't even accuse anybody of molesting her, so that's good. She has female coaches too a lot.
Oh, that's nice,
which is also helpful. She is the location of this one is different every year too. She finishes second in this, which is a big coup for her. That's a big deal. She also goes to the U.S. Championships that year and finishes 5th in those. So she was 6th last time. She moved up a spot. Good for her.
She's crushing.
She's crushing for a 16-year-old girl. I mean, she's
amazing.
She's kicking ass.
And she's in one competition, she's second.
She's second. Yeah, and it's a big one, too. Yeah. It's not some little rinky-dink thing. That's a big deal that they pay attention to.
But you know what we haven't heard yet? Finishing first.
Not yet. She's a kid.
Okay.
Because some of these people that are in it, they're Olympic level talent too. Okay. So this is like all of them. Because it's not like once they go to the Olympics, then they don't do this shit anymore.
Right.
Like
this is the best of the best of the best.
Yeah, the U.S. championships, like I saw later on, Michelle Kwan wins it one year and then doesn't win it another, then wins it another, and then wins it like 9 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, because she was just the dominant one.
Dominant as fuck.
And it was all like you go back through time, like Peggy Fleming won it like 7 years in a row, and all these, I can't remember any of these other figure skaters' names because
there's only like 7 that are like big household names.
Yeah, that I remember. I remember Wolfgang Schwartz did something to one of them.
I don't know.
He was our molesting figure skater coach.
I was like, why does that name something?
It's the only figure skating we've really covered is Schwartz being like a human trafficker and a complete scumbag. By the way, that's a crazy episode. Weird.
Every time I think about a male figure skater, I see the guy from, was it Top Secret? Or it was some spoof movie where the packet, you know what? And it's not even figure skating. Never mind. I'm an asshole. It was, it was actually ballet dancing is what the guy was doing. Where his package kept growing. Through the performance. Then eventually it exploded. It may have been Naked Gun.
Something like that. It's a spoof. Yeah. Loaded Weapon or one of those.
Some shit like that. Spy Hard. I don't fucking know.
That's all of them. Yeah, I think we got them all. I think we got all the second tier Naked Guns out of the way.
That's all of them.
There's Naked Gun, and then there's all those other ones. And of course, Airplane and the
your eyes bugging out of your head. That's all.
That's all. I was trying that's it. I think we got it all. It was like vacuuming up a spot on the rug, and you're like, I think it's
there
up.
It is.
I think we got it all.
I think we're good.
No more crumbs.
Yeah, no security deposit back.
Sweet. So, Jesus Christ. So, man, 1987, Tonya Harding's parents, and this is where even more kind of tumult at home here. Her parents divorce after 19 years of marriage in 1987 when she's 16 years old. Yeah. And that's also kind of hard on her, just because it just makes everything even more up in the air. So now there's just it's a mess.
She's already got uncertainty. She has no idea where this is going. And then she's got to go back to the house where we have no idea where this house is going.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, she's got this laser focus with the figure skate. Right. It's like everything else is just juggled, and then she has one thing that's like grounded.
Right.
That's the thing she's doing. So she must feel more pressure than most to perform because she's got to look at this as this is my fucking way out of here.
Yeah.
This is my way out of drinking brandy at 4:30 in the morning because that's what my life is going to be if I don't fucking do this and get the hell out of here. She ends up dropping out of high school at this point.
No.
Well, yeah, they don't have what she says.
Is that a good idea?
In her sophomore year.
Is that a good idea, though?
I mean, shit, if you want to be in the Olympics, you got to train. If you're wealthy, you can train and have tutors and all that sort of thing. But if you're not, you got to train. You can't afford tutors and all that shit. And there's no private schooling for you or anything like that. You're just drop out of school. In her sophomore year, she does get her GED.
Okay.
So she does actually, get her a pice of paper saying that she can read and write and knows where fucking... there's no oil in Florida.
She
things
did
like that.
Yeah. And I graduated that shit, and I still don't.
It's terrible. So I have a GED.
She
it's
got
fine.
a GED after her sophomore?
After her sophomore year. During her sophomore year.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, if you've ever taken the GED, you could take it after your 6th grade year and probably fucking pass it if you paid attention. If you were a mediocre 7th grader, you could pass a GED test, I feel like.
I didn't pay attention. I don't know how I have a diploma.
I got a high honors GED.
Jesus,
that is not a lie. They sent me that piece of paper. I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of here. The back of it's like a Denny's maze that you color through. Like a placemat menu. Like, what is this? Are you kidding me? The fuck out of here with this high honors GED.
Grand Slam's $1.99.
Let's put it on the wall, everybody. No. Let's not. Let's keep that off the wall. Because that is embarrassing.
I'm impressed that she has the forethought to drop out of high school to go pursue.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend in high school that was, back in 97, it would have been my sophomore year, and he was a cyclist, really great one, went to Olympic trials, and I don't think he knew that Lance Armstrong was coming down the pike.
Wow.
But who was about to just take everybody's money in that sport.
If he wanted to throw some roids down.
Yeah.
He could have competed.
But I don't think Austin has done fuck with that since then.
No.
And I believe he was thinking about moving to be a foreign exchange student to pursue it.
Whoa.
That's fucking crazy.
And
that's not even dropping out.
That's how serious you have to be though with some of these sports. Some of the young, like tennis is the same way. Like you have, when you're 16, you have to be, that's when you're good.
You better be,
because you're done by 23 for the most part, unless you're a Williams sister.
Right.
You're done early. So it's the same thing with figure skating. You don't see, she's 44 years old, she's going to enter. That doesn't happen.
No.
There's not a bunch of then a 44-year-old lady. Nothing wrong with being 44, but you're probably not an Olympic level athlete at this point in time. Neither am I, and neither is Jimmie. It's just not going to happen.
I'm not anywhere near 40. Well,
no,
I'm near 40.
You're pretty
I'm
close.
definitely near 40.
You're pushing.
I'm not 40 yet.
No, you're pushing hard.
But the point is, and I'm not doing it anytime soon.
No, this is what I mean. So this is, you get it while the getting's good at this point. So, and the thing is with this, if you can get to the Olympics, if you can score a fucking medal, if you can be, there's a certain protected class in America.
Yeah.
If you can be a United States Olympic athlete who medals in a sport we give a shit about and watch on TV, you are a fucking hero for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. And it can't be fucking shot putting or some horse shit like that nobody watches.
It's got to be gymnastics.
Figure skating, gymnastics,
basketball,
diving and swimming for some reason that people want to watch. I have no idea why they're entertained by that, but that, or, basketball, a sport we give two fucks about. And Kurt Angle, wrestling, there you go. And people still know who he is because, well, obviously it was WWE forever, but he was in there because he won a fucking gold medal. So it's one of those things.
You wouldn't know who Carrie Strug is if she didn't know how to do what the fuck she does.
That's what I mean. And so that's how it is. If you win a medal here, then you're a sweetheart forever. Yeah. You're an America's sweetheart for the rest of your life. So there's a certain thing. You get work forever. You can coach forever. Yeah. It's like putting a horse out to stud. Yeah. Once you're done, then you go coach for exorbitant amounts for little shithead rich kids, that you weren't when you're this. So I get her life that she's trying to do. So she drops out.
Which part is putting the horse out to stud?
Well, you're not making them fuck, but you're spreading your knowledge seed
I'm
among
on board now.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
What they do is, if Kurt Angle has been put out to stud, he has impregnated several hundred women. It's really how he's made his living. He wrestles for free. He just stud fees just to make future champions.
I was all bored listening to the whole thing, and then you spit that out, and then you go to the part where they coach, and I was like, wait a minute, what part are we at right now?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's their, no, that's their stud right there. That's their studding. 87-88 season, she goes to the NHK Trophy, which is an international senior level figure skating competition held. It's part of the ISU Grand Prix of figure skating as well, organized by the Japanese Skating Federation, and it's in Japan. Yeah. So it's went through 70, began in 79. This one, she finishes third in this competition, which isn't bad. Go over to Japan, and who she lost to ends up being a future medalist in the Olympics too. So she's
both of them.
The winner. I don't know. I'm not sure about second place. U.S. Championships that year. She goes there also, finishes fifth in the U.S. Championships. So she has tough showings at these championships her first few years. Plus, I mean, there's a lot going on at home here too. Like we said, she's got a shitload going on. So it's to keep any focus would be difficult, I would imagine.
And she's still got the boyfriend from high school.
She's still got Jeff Gillooly, and as a matter of fact, around this time, after her parents got divorced, early 88, with so much shit at home, she decides that she's moving out at 17 to move in with her boyfriend Jeff. They move into a small home, a little tiny home, in 1988. He worked in distribution at the Oregon Liquor Control Commission, and I don't know.
What the fuck does that do?
No idea. And distribute. I don't know. They give liquor out at the Oregon.
He's distributing something.
Come get your liquor, everybody.
We got your rations.
I was just gonna say liquor rations. Bring your liquor tickets over here. Y'all bring your liquor tickets to the make sure you got your damn liquor tickets. No ticket, no booze. God
it's like
damn
an open mic where you get drink tickets.
You get a drink ticket, or it's like a festival with a wristband, like a shitty Oktoberfest. Oh, this is for the wristband. Then I got to get in a separate line for the fuck you.
Unbelievable.
Beers are in that line? No. So yeah, he does that, and but he's supporting her. She's happy. She's out of her mother. She's out from under her mother's grip and out from under her talons, and that's all she wanted was to get the fuck out of that house, away from all that. Because I assume too, with a divorce, her mother was probably not in a great state of mind.
Yeah.
While her normal alcoholism add to that a divorce.
Yeah.
I assume that's bad here.
Sounds like her mom was probably mouthy to begin with because she was drunk all the time and probably had spit out a lot of opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Then you add a divorce into that and a drunk lady with grievances.
And she's going to air them even more with Tonya. So Tanya's in for the probably assume she's probably going to get the most of it, and that's what she's thinking. So instead, she moves out. She's with Jeff, and Jeff also, she feels a little protected by Jeff. She feels, he's kind of he's always kind of like her watchdog type guy too. And she's also, we'll say, he's a kind of a bigger guy. He's a tall guy. She's small. She's 5'1",
super small.
She's 5'1". She's tiny. So I don't know. She thinks of him as whatever. I don't know how to put it, but protect her a little bit, because
bodyguard,
and he's a little tough too, and she likes that because she's not going to want some pussy. She knows how to fucking put a transmission together.
Right.
If she wants a pussy, she doesn't want some pussy. It's got to be a guy who's a fucking guy who looks kind of tough.
So guy who looks like the lead singer of Queen. But like manly.
Well, he had a good mustache. I'll say that for Mr. Mercury. There,
Mercury. That's
more talent than anybody and a fine mustache.
You betcha.
Good fucking dude there. Now, it's at this point where Tanya's molesting half-brother, Chris, in 1988, is killed in a hit-and-run car accident where he's walking and somebody hits him and kills him, and it's never solved.
Really?
Never solved. That's strange. When you consider what happens.
Still never solved?
Never solved. It's never, ever been solved. No one's ever been held responsible for that, which I just find, I'm not accusing anybody, obviously, but I find it so odd based on what happens later, where it seems like if anybody's pissing Tonya off.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. So
I'm very
you
curious.
can put that together with your own. I mean, also too, who knows? He's a scumbag. He could have been out molesting somebody, and somebody got mad and ran him over. Who the fuck knows? Who knows what happened to him? Could have been an accident. Could have been a drunk. We have no idea.
I didn't know that.
But no, I didn't either till I did all this crazy research. No, I don't know. Fucking nobody knows shit about. And by the way, if you've seen I, Tonya, because that was an entertaining thing lately, that is complete. Like
fabricated, it's garbage.
It's not. It's fun and whatever, but it's not. It's based on like 2 interviews, basically, one with Tonya and one with Jeff Gillooly. So there's not like a whole lot of. It's just
garbage.
It's not meant to be like a revealing documentary. It's meant to be just a silly.
It's a couple people's side of the story. That's nothing.
It's meant to be silly. It's not meant to be real. It's meant to be like, this is not, basically, here's 2 people's stories. Somewhere in the middle's the truth, and who knows what the fuck the truth is. So we'll just talk some shit.
I'd really like to know where Jeff was that night that her brother was killed.
I would love to know that.
That would be some real interesting information.
I'm curious. But not even Jeff. If Jeff has, we'll talk about it. Jeff's got friends, and I don't know what Jeff's an interesting guy here. We'll talk about. Now, 88, 89, after this, now her molesting half-brother's dead, her father's gone, they're divorced. She's moved out of the house. She has a few big years where it's like so much action, so much activity. 88, 89, at the Prize of Moscow News competition. This is, it's known as Moscow Skate, and they give the Moscow News Trophy. It's an international senior level figure skating competition held in the Soviet Union from 66 to 90. Then I guess the wall fell and things changed over there, and it went away. It was held annually in Moscow in December, and it's an ISU Grand Prix of figure skating event. The winners receive a crystal skate statuette, which seems like it'd be pretty cool. Ice skating, a crystal ice skate.
Really?
Yeah, it's a crystal ice skate. Crystal skate.
That's cool.
She finishes first.
She wins it.
She wins it. Goes over to Russia and takes home the crystal skate.
Wow, how you feel about that, Boris?
Yeah, which her mom immediately drinks brandy out of. First thing. I'll that's perfect for my bra. I can see through it and everything. Thank you, sweetie.
If I put that in the freezer, it'll keep it cold.
It'll keep it cold. It's not going to break. So, she receives the crystal skate statuette, finishing first. She also goes to the U.S. Championships that year and finishes third there. So she's, slowly. It was sixth, it was fifth, now it's third. She's moving up the ladder. 88, 89, 90 season at the Skate America competition, she finishes first. Great. She wins that too. Now she's starting. This is when she starts coming into her own, to where people are going, oh boy, she's going to be in the Olympics.
Yeah,
this is we got to keep an eye on her, because there's a handful of them. There's only a handful of them. Like, to have the talent to do whatever, you have to have a physical ability that's a certain physical ability, and then to actually have that harnessed and had somebody take you to an ice skating rink every fucking day and do all that. It's pretty rare. I mean, if we made every kid try to figure skate, there'd probably be a shitload of figure skaters that are all really good.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we'd get some like NFL wide receiver who's an incredible athlete with a 52-inch vertical jump. Right. He'd go out there spinning and flipping and doing all sorts of shit. But nobody put that kid on ice skates, unfortunately.
It's majority tons of tiny white people.
Yeah,
that's what's out there.
With fucking thighs the size of tree trunks. Tonya Harding's thighs are muscular. Yeah. They're, oh my God.
Like a horse.
Just muscly and thick. Yeah, she looked athletic as shit, Tonya Harding.
She's like a white trash Cinderella right now with her own glass slipper.
Oh, she's even got her own glass ice skate, Jimmie, and it fits her little foot.
It's beautiful.
She has to pour brandy out to get it in there, but she still gets
in there.
It's
like a lubricant. Gets that chubby foot in there.
That's all, right in there. Now, at the Nations Cup, it's also called the Bofrost Cup on Ice. I don't know what it was called. The Fujifilm Trophy for a couple years, and then it was called the Nations Cup for about 7 years there. They've just changed the name of it a million times, probably based on sponsors. It was a senior figure skating competition held in Germany, and she finishes first in that this year also. So not too shabby. This is the first year it's called the Nations Cup. Then she goes to the U.S. Championships that same year and finishes 7th. Oh. So that's got a sting, because she's gone around the world. She's Germany, Russia, and now she comes back and finishes 7th. You never know, though, in figure skating. She might have fallen. There might have been one snag. Who knows? Figure skating is like, oh, did you see that? No. Whenever they go, if you watch that, something will happen, and they'll go, oh, no. And you're like, what?
What happened?
What happened? And they
her
show
foot wiggled.
You replay. Now, her foot here, it's supposed to be at a 45-degree angle. She's got it at a 65-degree angle. So, obviously, all of her training in 4 years and her whole life's work are ruined now.
It's all over.
Sorry. Like, what the fuck just happened? I didn't even see that. Jesus Christ. It's not even clear.
Right.
Like, at least it's like boxing, you can tell who won most of the time. Like, this is crazy. You have no fucking idea.
That's probably why they shoot all the fire and shit like that now, to distract you from the fuck-ups that they make.
Crazy fucking music. You need it. March 18th, 1990 is a magical day. Speaking of Cinderella, she's had her prince come put the slipper on, and she marries Jeff Gillooly.
Really?
Oh yeah, she marries him. She's 19 years old. He's 22. She told a journalist for a local newspaper about this time period that she tells him in 1992. She tells this reporter that people could say whatever they want about Jeff, but she says Jeff always put food on the table and a roof over my head. He paid for my skating for a couple years. If it hadn't been for him during that time, I wouldn't have been skating.
Okay.
So Jeff takes the mother's role of, if you're skating that much to where you want to be an Olympian, you probably can't work 12 hours a day and then go skate the rest of the time. You probably need to train harder than that. So someone needs to take care of you at that point.
Jeff probably has already also done a little bit of research to see what
knows.
have amazing athletes done
he knows.
later on in life.
He saw the Mary Lou Retton Wheaties box and all that shit when growing up in the 80s, and he was like, these Olympians seem pretty popular.
Right.
This is, they're talking about the dream team next year now. They're like, hey, this is fucking big shit.
Bruce Jenner seems to be doing real great right now.
He seems to be doing good. I see big things for him in the future. Big things. So, and he was right.
He was right.
So 90-91.
Yeah.
This is at the World Championships now. The World Figure Skating Championships. They call them the Worlds as opposed to the Nationals. Very clever, all these athletes in the way they name their tournaments. An annual figure skating competition. It's sanctioned by the International Skating Union. Obviously, they give medals and shit like that. No glass slipper skates, unfortunately. I guess they say with the exception of an Olympic medal, this world title is considered the highest competitive achievement in figure skating.
Really?
So it's the Olympics and then this.
Okay.
So, and then your different countries go based on whatever. But yeah, U.S. if you're into that. But yeah, so this is a big deal. This one here. She finishes second in this competition. Well, that's great for her, though. That looks good. That she's on the right path.
Every time you say where she finishes, if it's not first, I assume it's all Kerrigan.
No, it's not actually at all, because this is when Kerrigan starts to get. This is when Kerrigan starts to her rise up, and it's like Tonya was kind of getting there, and then all of a sudden now Nancy's biting at her heels.
Got it.
Christy Yamaguchi actually wins first in this one. She's the one who should have been getting clubbed if she wanted to win, because this Yamaguchi kicks some ass. She didn't fucking lose.
I guess. I mean, she's the original Michelle Kwan. Not.
Did you?
No.
He said, no, I didn't. Yeah. You meant our first Asian figure skater without any accent? Is that what you meant, Jimmie? They didn't try to offer you fried rice at all, so you're like, oh, she didn't even offer me an egg roll.
I mean, like,
you racist bat. I'm fucking around. I know what you meant.
The first dominant
I know what you meant.
American, and she was damn good. Jesus, was she good?
No, she was really good. She wins this competition. It's weird too. Working in her family's restaurant, 14 hours a day, she still managed to pull it together enough. Jesus Christ.
She took a break from sewing all those Nikes and just really put it together.
God damn it. Her family's home was a restaurant / sweatshop. It was a sweatshop in the basement and a restaurant on the second floor.
Call it a sweatshop because she was building sweatpants all day.
Awful. So Tonya was second, and in third place, Nancy Kerrigan. Here she comes. Whoa. She comes creeping up the backside on her. The next one is the NHK trophy. She finishes second there. Tonya does. U.S. Championships in Minneapolis now. She finishes first. She finally gets it.
She did.
This season, 90-91. She finishes first in Minneapolis. Yamaguchi number 2, and Nancy Kerrigan third.
How about
that? So there's a top 3. I mean, it's just all these competitions it's just you can jumble the names. And it's one's going to, because like we said, if her foot was 10 degrees off, so, you know, that.
And
now
how
it's this
about
one.
that? There aren't very many single person sports like that where those, like the three,
whole country,
the best, and there's the 3 that are like, if you're watching that, you have to be like, I can't believe I'm being able to watch 3 Olympic athletes that are some of the best at this sport.
That's what it is. You knew that was going to happen here. Now at the U.S. Olympic Festival that year, she finishes second. I think Yamaguchi won. So they're just trading, you know, and they're all going to go to the Olympics. They know it. So they're all fucking happy. They must be thrilled. Now 91-92, this is the World Championships. She finishes 6th that year, but that doesn't matter because she pulls off some crazy shit in 91 at the Skate America Championship. She wins first place, and this is when she breaks through to where everybody in skating notices her, because she becomes the first woman to complete a triple axel in a short program competition. So she actually pulls it off. And then she's the first woman to execute 2 triple axels in a single competition.
How about that?
This is all in this one in the Skate America deal. Then she's the first ever to complete a triple axel in combination with a double toe loop. I don't know what that looks like, but she did it in combination with another move. She's the first ever female to do that either. That wasn't the first woman. She's just the first ever to do that.
Unbelievable.
And first woman to do the other thing. She was pushing the envelope. That's the other thing too. She wasn't complacent. She was like, I am going to fucking be the best. I'll try moves that no one else is trying and doing, and that's how bad she wanted it. You got to root for someone like that.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that she did that.
Yeah, I
mean,
it's
like Tony Hawk in the 720 or 1280, whatever the fuck he did.
Total. It's exactly what he was. She is, but she was pushing it, and she's only fucking 20 years old here too. She's 20. She's pushing it, or she's got a tough childhood, and she's married to Gillooly, for Christ's sake. Just his name, the guy's fucking name. It doesn't matter. He could be Senator Gillooly, and it would just be like everything he does is stupid. You know who signed that bill? Gillooly. No, proposed that one? Gillooly. That's right.
It's like
he sponsored it. It's his committee.
It's like Gugliotta with his dumb last name, and it ended up being a joke also because his contract's fucking stupid.
You know who missed the last shot of the game?
Fucking Gugliotta.
Fucking Googs. That's who. He googed it hard. Fucking googed it right off the back of the rim.
Yeah.
Terrible. What a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So, U.S. championships that year, she finishes third, Tonya does, behind, I'll give you a guess.
Yamaguchi and Kerrigan?
Yamaguchi, Kerrigan, Harding.
Right.
So every competition is a jumble of the three. Just pick your one. Now, March 1st, 1992, after that, Harding she was coached by Diane Rawlinson, and then she switched coaches to somebody else, and she fired her new coach that she's had for a couple years now, and returned to Diane Rawlinson after this competition. So she felt like her coaching wasn't what she wanted then. She wasn't winning.
Right.
So it's the coach's fault, obviously.
I want to do the triple axel.
Every time. If I can't do it, it's your fault. So that was then. Now, 92, there's the Winter Olympics, and it's weird because they have these every 2 years. I don't understand what's going on.
Is that what goes on with those?
But there's not. It's in France, but 92 had the Summer Olympics, and they do them every...
I don't know.
I don't know. There was some competition around something that had to do with the Olympics in this fucking thing, but it wasn't the main Olympics because that's in 94.
Right, because that's every 4 years, but it's every 4 years. It's every 2 years for Olympics, but it's
summer,
like
winter,
right,
summer, winter.
They stagger it. Right.
So this, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was some deal here. Now, Yamaguchi wins gold.
Oh, shit.
Midori Ito of Japan wins silver.
That bitch.
Nancy Kerrigan wins bronze. Tonya Harding is fourth.
Oh, no.
So that Midori Ito came in on the group and pushed her to the non-medal position.
Ouch.
Which sucks.
No podium.
That's no podium, but still, she's there. She's in the top four. She's still strong. Grace.
No.
That's Grace. That is going to be Grace, I would say, right now. That is, it's where it kind of takes a left turn.
Okay.
Or a right turn or a downward spiral or whatever fucking
U-turn.
direction you want to put it. A U-turn. A triple axle. March 11th, 1992.
Yes.
She's driving her pickup truck, and this is going to come up a lot. She always has a pickup truck in marginal working order, as we'll find out. A lot of pickup truck news stories with her. There's just tons of shit. She's driving her pickup truck near where the rink where she trains. She pulls up behind another car. In the car is a woman named Kay Brooks. This Kay Brooks is stopped at a red light and waiting to make a right turn at the red light. Apparently, Tonya wanted to make a right turn too, and this lady wasn't turning right on red quite fast enough for Tonya. And according to the police, quote, reportedly Ms. Harding was stopped behind Ms. Brooks and honked her horn. After turning, both drivers stopped and got out of their cars. They became involved in a verbal dispute and what they call a slight altercation, which is slight altercation was, as the police pulled up to the scene, Tonya was screaming and holding a baseball bat and yelling at the woman as she cowered from this baseball bat that Tonya had in her hand. The deputy, according to the report, the deputy asked Miss Harding to put the bat down, and she complied. Well, that's mighty nice of her. That's good. They shouldn't take a cut at the cop.
I don't understand. What have you done in traffic? I've never been into a place where I got out of the vehicle.
I don't give a shit about traffic.
Really?
Like, I'll yell in the car and stuff, but I don't see people. I'm so in my own. I don't care.
I've done some things.
I just don't care.
I've flicked cigarettes into people's cars.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, but
I've done enough things to where I feel like a dickhead. But
this seems a little much for a right on red. That's the a little much.
Response to flicking a cigarette into somebody's car. Like I should expect a man to get out with a baseball bat.
I would expect that too. Yeah. But if you took a little too long to turn right on red, I wouldn't expect a baseball bat to come at me.
And that's also not what got the cigarette flicked. There were words exchanged, and then the man spit into my vehicle, so I flicked my cigarette into his.
That's tit for tat, I guess.
And then he scrambled in his car to find the cigarette, and then I peeled out.
Well, that's smart.
Because he was big.
Well, yeah, it's a smart move, Jimmie. Yeah, distract him with the cigarette and then go. I like that. That's good. That's good. Animals behave like that. I like that. Distract, and then I can get away from the predator. Smart.
It's like throwing a steak to a bear.
It was like a Nature Channel show. It was good. So now the police said nobody was injured and no criminal charges were filed, and the cop made them apologize to each other. Put the bat down and apologize, please, which is amazing.
That's how you diffuse lady fights, because otherwise if it's two dudes, dude's got a baseball bat, somebody's getting tased.
Oh, someone's getting arrested, tased. Well, he's going to get out with his gun out, first of all. You see a 5'1" blonde girl, like 21-year-old blonde girl with a baseball bat, you're like, all right, sweetheart, put the bat down. Hey, listen, honey, come on. You're some asshole cop. He's like, get the fuck, hey, come on, what are you doing? Let's go. Give me the hand over the bat. Come on, what are you doing, ladies? Problem is, afterwards, later on, after no charges were filed and everybody went their separate ways, a passenger in the car, in Tonya's car, was quoted telling a Portland television station that Brooks punched Harding and that Harding punched her back and broke Brooks's glasses and then went and got the baseball bat. Wow. So that's when the cop pulled up, was after they had already exchanged blows. And now weaponry had become involved. And then the cop comes in and they go, no, we're fine. Everything's fine. We're just having an argument. Everything's cool, right? Yeah, everything's good. Yeah. They shake hands and apologize.
Pick up your Ray-Bans.
Yeah, everybody goes on their fucking way here.
Whoever was in the passenger seat, they didn't get out of the car.
No, can you imagine watching that? Just, oh man, through the windshield. It's like a great television show. Did she? Oh shit!
She's coming back.
She hit her back.
Oh my god! Is she gonna hit me now?
She reaches behind the seat, pulls out a fucking. Oh man, that's a baseball bat. Okay,
this just got really.
She just pulled out her Ken Griffey Jr. model. This is gonna get dangerous. Jesus Christ. So that's the first indication that Tonya has got there's a certain white trashery that pumps through her veins.
Oh, it's bubbling.
It never goes away.
Yeah.
92-93 season, she skates in the Skate Canada International and finishes back to skating. Yeah, back on the ice in a sequined frilly costume,
looking like a lady.
No baseball bat whatsoever in that one. There, finishes fourth there in the U.S. Championships that year. She finishes fourth as well. Wow. Nancy Kerrigan was the winner of the U.S. Championships there. July 93, the honeymoon's over between her and Gillooly, unfortunately. You'd think that's a marriage like that when you meet someone when you're 15, his name's Gillooly. It's going to last forever. It's obviously going to last forever, but it doesn't. Jeff apparently is a little rough, and Tonya files a restraining order against him in July of 93. So good for you if he's fucking roughing you up. Get out of there. Good job. She files a restraining order against him. August 28th, 93, she divorces Jeff.
Over.
So over with.
Yeah.
Clear that out. Done. She's going to new chapter in her life. Totally. Fall of 93, Gillooly is working part-time managing Tonya's career.
What?
He's part-time figure skating career manager, and he's also taking real estate classes because I don't know I don't know.
What the fuck why is she still have him in her life?
Well, because by October they're hooked up again and they move into a rental home together in Oregon. So, all right. Restraining order, divorce, 2 months later, back together. He's her manager. Right. It's a fucking mess.
It's a typical abusive relationship.
It's an abusive relationship mixed with athletics, which she's doing exactly the same thing that every male criminal athlete does every time. It's doing the same thing, except it's just a reverse thing. So,
and chasing that possible carrot of fame and fortune and wealth beyond belief later.
Yeah, absolutely. Except she's the one being abused is the only difference. Now, nobody understands it. Her former agent, a guy named Michael Rosenberg, said, quote, "I don't know why they stay together. It's like asking your friends why they marry the wrong people. They're incompatible, but they're in love. They fight and they make up, and it's all lovey-dovey."
Passionate.
He's like, I don't even know.
They fuck so hard.
They fuck and they fight and they fight. Yeah, they have. This is a fiery relationship that should be over when you're 16 and a half.
Yes.
And done with.
Right.
And
surprisingly, there's no children involved right now.
No, they
have no kids.
That's
the other part that makes it fucking even crazier.
Well, yeah, she kids are not part of her.
You have no reason to stay together.
No, that's none. Kids are not part of her plan because it's hard. You can't do a triple axel if you're 8 months pregnant. Right. So she does not want kids until her physical career is over, and she makes that perfectly clear. She wrote in requesting the restraining order to begin with, quote, "It has been an abusive relationship for the past 2 years, and he has assaulted me physically with his open hand and fist. He told me to watch my back, and if he saw me out with any of my friends, he would stop me." Wow. That's what the restraining order said. So that's abusive. That sounds scary.
Yeah.
Sounds like something she needs to get the fuck away from.
Shit, yeah.
She entered into this relationship, and the thing is, I don't know if she feels like that's some people are afraid to get out of relationships that can easily get out of them because she has the resources here. She's getting famous. She can get out of this sort of thing, but some people feel like then they're a failure.
Yeah.
Which you're not a failure just because your relationship didn't work. Like that.
Your relationship's a failure. That's all.
But some people take that as like, I made a bad decision and like they feel embarrassed about it. It's like, don't feel embarrassed about that shit.
You know how
That's
many
just
bad decisions I've made?
a ton of bad
Holy
decisions. And
shit.
this is horrible, but she backslides into him and ends up dropping the restraining order right before they get back together.
Yeah.
So they could legally be in the same room together. That's important in a relationship.
You can compare a relationship to a business opportunity where the guy that started McDonald's that's unbelievably successful had like 100 failed business opportunities.
Everybody, every successful
marriages are the same way.
Yeah, it's
you
the
can
same
have 100 failed marriages. Who gives a shit?
Not a good idea to keep getting married. Maybe it doesn't suit you.
It.
No.
Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe could have been them 99 times.
Like my dad, who's been married 8 times.
Roll those dice.
It's probably you, dude.
It's maybe you. Yeah,
could be you,
8
sir.
times.
Yeah,
you might not. Just stop getting married.
Yeah,
I say 3 is your limit.
Once
you hit 3, it's like because 1 happened when we were young, and 2, I don't know, we had a financial thing and our business fell apart and our relationship, blah, blah, blah. The 3rd time, that's it. It's enough now. You're done.
Between my ex-wife and,
you're not good at
me, her dad and her mom, my dad and my mom, there's like 18 failed marriages.
Yeah.
And my dad's half of them.
That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. But these two, though, I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand what her deal is. They said that her friends and relatives said they would have constant arguments, violent arguments. Her stepfather, Tonya's stepfather, said, quote, "Hell, if she looked at someone, he would get mad. He'd manipulate her real easy. He had such a possessive nature and is jealous of her." Yeah. So it's obvious here, the whole thing. But while this is going on, she finishes 3rd in the Skate America, which is in August. So she did that while she was in the middle of a divorce and had restraining orders over her head.
Imagine if she had her thoughts together.
That's what I mean. For all of this, if she had an upbringing like somebody else that was more stable, less crazy, less chaos, less shit going on, she might have been able to focus, and she might have been insane. She's 4th at the NHK trophy that year as well.
She was insane, but
she was, and we'll find out. We'll see how maybe she still is.
I wonder how Nancy Kerrigan's home life was.
Probably good, I'd imagine. Although her brother got arrested for beating up her grandfather or some shit like that.
Fuck?
Yeah, there's some weird her son there's a weird thing with her family, nothing to do with her, but her family. Yeah. A young person in her family got arrested for beating up like a 75-year-old family member, which is fascinating. I didn't have time to go into it too deeply real quick. Didn't really relate to this,
our friend Brandon Kerrigan, who lives in Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's his cousin. Nancy Kerrigan is his cousin.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating. Interesting. Well, he's probably heard all about this.
Enjoy this story, Brandon.
Yeah. I'll tell you. So the 1994 year, this is as crazy a year as any human being's ever had, pretty much, like in the public eye. You can't get any more eventful, wacky, up and down roller coaster, whatever. So January 4th, 1994, the U.S. championships are in a few days. They're on the 7th. She arrives. They're in Detroit. She arrives in Detroit to skate at these. Tonya does. She tells the press, makes a statement, says, "Let me tell you, I'm going to go there and kick some butt." So that's her plan. She's going to go kick some butt.
Okay.
Now, January 6th, 1994, the day before the championships in Detroit, Nancy Kerrigan's there too, because they're all in the event.
Sure.
She's walking behind a curtain to a corridor at this point. And we'll go over the whole scandal quickly because we've heard about it before. And I found like some points I didn't know about. Those are the ones I emphasized pretty much. The main ones were brushstroke it because you've heard it before. Now, she's walking behind a corridor when, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. What is this? Stant is this guy's name. Shane Stant. He's a 22-year-old guy at the time. He rushes up behind her and swings a ASP telescopic baton at her. So it's like a police baton.
Yeah, those
it's
metal ones.
Yeah, they're fucking nasty batons.
They hurt.
Yeah, they hurt bad. Apparently, he would use both hands like a baseball bat to swing it at her leg and hit her just above her knee on her right leg. Okay, Nancy Kerrigan, this is. It was a 21-inch long baton. Now, so Kerrigan goes down, and if everybody's seen the footage of her screaming and crying and doing the Y thing, she really does not hold her dignity together at all. I got to be honest with you.
Let him have it.
I got to be honest with you. Like, I've seen a lot of sports injuries, and that's the first time I've ever seen that reaction. Guys break their necks, and they don't fucking react like that. They don't go, why? 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 She didn't say ouch. She said, why?
Yeah.
Why? Right. It's like, why me? It was a very, like, I know there's cameras, and I know she was hurt, and I feel bad for her. But like I said, I've seen.
It didn't break a bone, did it?
No, that's the thing.
Right.
It didn't break a bone.
Theismann was. His career was fucking over.
Joe Theismann saw his bone sticking out looking at him on national television, and he didn't go, why? Why? He just went, fuck, somebody fucking help me. Jesus Christ, this hurts.
Take this up. We got a game to win.
Holy shit. Oh, my God. This is bad. This is a bad one. Come on. He didn't go, why? Right. So that's what I mean. But she laid on the ground and said, why, and screamed and yelled. Like I said, not to make fun of her. She's a victim of an assault. But for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ. You didn't get shot in the fuck, fucking Lee Harvey Oswald didn't scream, why? You got shot in the stomach.
Protesters get smacked with those batons over and over and over
repeatedly.
again, and they aren't laying on the ground screaming, why?
Fuck no. Why?
They get like 7 shots from those goddamn things.
Yeah.
And they get thrown in a cop car, and they're like, fuck you, pigs.
Yeah, spitting on the window. So her leg was not broken, but it was severely bruised. As I can imagine, getting whacked with that's going to bruise you a little bit. So she cried over the bruise.
She got a bruise.
She got a little bruise. It's figure skating. It's not like she's not a linebacker.
Right, but she's fallen on the fucking ice.
Yeah.
That hurts way worse.
She apparently, she probably thought her leg was broken. I think, too, it's one of those things where it's like they say psychologically people fall down when they get shot because they think that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
It's just they see in movies and TV, people get shot and they fall down. Right. Well, you don't fall down unless the blood isn't pumping enough to your extremities to make them work. So you've hit a nerve, some nervous system shit.
Otherwise, you can generally keep running.
You're fine. Yeah, that's you're not fine, but you're shot, but you can keep running. But people fall because that's what they think. And I think she got clubbed in the leg and said, they broke my leg. And they fucking fell on the ground. That was her trained response, was to fall on the ground. My whole life is over. Why? And that was it. So, Now, like I said, it's funny, too, because coming from both of our backgrounds are not like, we're not upper class backgrounds or anything like that. So I was much more in Tonya Harding's.
Yes.
I was like, fuck her and her fucking, she's so perfect, that Nancy Kerrigan, Now I'm like, obviously, whatever.
It's fucked up.
As a kid, it was like, the other one, at least she's got, she's like a real person. I don't know, this princess, and I was 15. I didn't know any better.
Right.
But,
they're interviewing Tonya over in the corner. Would you see what happened to Nancy? And she's like chugging a beer. She's like, I don't know.
Who flicks the cigarette butt at her? I just flicked a cigarette in her car. I didn't think anything would happen. Oh, you mean her knee? That was a separate thing. My bad.
Pissed in her sunroof.
I pissed right out, squatted over it, and boom, right down there. Now this does force Nancy to withdraw from the U.S. championships this year, so she can't skate because that's the next day.
A bruise,
but it's a severe bruise. It's a deep. You wouldn't want to fucking land on it.
Like a bone bruise.
Yeah, I mean, she got whacked with a fucking. Yeah, that had to hurt like a bastard.
I'm sure
it hurt like a son of a bitch, broken or not.
Was it on the front or on the side?
On the side.
It was on the side.
I think it was on the side, like kind of off to the side, right above the knee.
Okay.
So if you hit the knee,
I'll bet it hurt like a.
It had to hurt. It had to hurt. I mean, we're obviously joking. That had to hurt like a bastard.
Yeah.
She was forced to get out of there, and she couldn't she couldn't retain her title because she was the champ last year. So the next day, January 8th, they have the competition, and Tonya wins.
Oh,
look at that.
Weird.
Tonya wins. She's the new champ. She finally wins it. Both Kerrigan and Harding are selected for the 94 Olympic team out of this because they don't hold this against Nancy that she couldn't compete because obviously it was not really something she had anything to do with.
And we know she's good. She won last year.
She won last year, and then Tonya won it. And at this point, it's, they don't know if she has anything to do with it. They don't think that. They don't think the other chick skating with her. The one who won must
benefited benefited from this? We'll get it? Never.
No. So, never. Yeah. So, Michelle Kwan finishes second, by the way, here. This is like her first.
Could have been her.
Launcher. There you go. She is also, too, she's the first female to do a triple axel in this competition.
Really?
First one to do a triple axel, which means she watched all 3 Beverly Hills Cop movies in one day. So, good job. It was hard. It was very hard. To get through that third one, it was a tough one. She had
triple axel Foley.
She loved one, and then 2, she was like, I mean, it's still Eddie Murphy. It's pretty funny. And then the third one, she's like, where are they, Disneyland now? What's going on? It's a piece of shit. He doesn't even look like he's interested in it. He stopped improving. This is all script. He just doesn't care anymore.
We get it. Judge Reinhold loves bazookas. What the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on with that? Jesus Christ. Now, who did all this? What ended up happening? Well, Harding, she has a bodyguard who is a good friend of Jeff Gillooly, a lifelong friend of Gillooly.
What?
Yes, a bodyguard, a 26-year-old, 311-pound guy who is one of Gillooly's best friends.
Oh, Harding does.
Tonya does.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's her bodyguard.
Like, wait, what? I thought we were talking about Carrion. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, well, he ends up being the first to be talked to by the police, as we'll talk about here. He ends up, FBI is investigating this because it's like an interstate thing. And, they apparently, they think that Eckhart and Gillooly orchestrated the attack, on the whole thing. They first get this information on January 11th, 94. So it's like 2 days later when a 24-year-old Portland minister named Eugene Sanders tells investigators he's heard a tape of Eckhart, Gillooly, and another friend discussing the hit. They called it the hit. So that leads to a further investigation. They talk to Eckhart, and he has no loyalty to Tonya Harding. He doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't want to go to prison.
Right.
So he ends up fingering Gillooly in this whole thing and saying, well, you might want to talk to Jeff about this whole deal, planning it and planning the cover up. Also dragged into this is this Shane Stant, who we talked about. He's the actual clubber. He's 22-year-old convicted felon and bounty hunter.
Oh my God.
So, a lot of good stuff there for him. He's doing great.
That doesn't sound like somebody Nancy Kerrigan knows.
No, probably not. Doesn't sound like someone Tonya Harding should be knowing at this point. She doesn't have to know these people anymore. He is currently at this point in the story living in Chandler, Arizona, which is Phoenix suburb, as we know. He had just moved down there. Okay. His 29-year-old uncle, who is Derek Smith, lives in Phoenix. He is a janitor and paramilitary enthusiast. That's
a terrifying man.
A janitor and a paramilitary. Yeah, your janitor who's just sitting there quiet all day mopping. If he goes home and puts on military uniforms and dicks with fucking guns and turning shit fully auto, that's a guy you need to watch. He's a problem.
I hope he's not a janitor in a fucking school.
Let's fucking hope not. He is the getaway driver. He's the guy who drove Shane's getaway car. So these are the two, a paramilitary enthusiast janitor and a felonious bounty hunter are who they've chosen to
psychos
a high-level job here. Apparently, Stant and Derek Smith, who is Stant's uncle, were hired by Gillooly and Sean Eckhart after they tried to find her in Massachusetts at her own training rink where she normally trains and couldn't find her. So then Stant took a 20-hour bus trip to Detroit.
What?
That's a fucking long bus trip.
A whole day on a bus.
20 hours to Detroit is the bus.
Wow.
They couldn't even fucking fly him there. That's how low budget this operation is.
$69.95 Greyhound.
If you can't fly your hitman to where he needs to go, you can't afford a hit. Period. You can't afford it. You need to save up to pay for accommodations for your hitman.
That is a real budget hit.
That's a budget hit. We're going to have to send you Greyhound. Well, this operation has nothing, huh? Okay. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
It's fucking nuts. So January 11th, this is all within 3 days. This is all happening on the same day, January 11th. They're talking to Eckhart. He's fingering Gillooly. And Jesus Christ. It wouldn't even be bad if his name wasn't Gillooly. That's the thing. If I said he's fingering Smith, you'd go, he fingered him in the crime. But he's fingering a Gillooly sounds like some dipshit fucking frat boy's name for a vagina is the problem. He's like, oh man, she had a hairy Gillooly on her, I'll tell you that much. But it felt fucking good. You forget about it once you're in there.
Listen, when there's grass on the Gillooly
table.
That's what I'm
saying. That's it. It's right on the Gillooly. So, Jesus Christ.
If the Gillooly bleeds, it breeds. You know what I'm saying?
The story. Jesus, how did this not take place in Florida? This story is so fucked up, and for 25 years it's been going on. I don't think I've ever heard anybody refer to a Gillooly as a vagina. So we've broken through to something, I think. I feel like we've found a new spin on the story. I figured we would.
We figured something out.
We needed to do it. So Jesus Christ. Tonya talks to Ann Schatz, who is a, yeah, every name is worse than the last. I can't.
Ann Schatz.
I can't do anything with that. Yeah, well, she did. Past tense, Jimmie. So she doesn't currently. The Schatz interviews Tonya for a TV station in Portland, KOIN, Coin. Yeah. I guess. Schatz asks Tonya if Tonya considered whether someone she knew had planned to attack Nancy, maybe. And Tonya answered, quote, I definitely thought about it. No one controls my life but me. If there's something in there that I don't like, I'm going to change it, which is not an answer to the question.
No, it's not.
That is not a no. I've thought about it. And no one controls my life but me. Okay, that's not what I asked at all. If there's something there I don't like, I'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
But if I ask them to do it, then I'll be happy about it, and I won't get rid of it. So, Jesus Christ. She also confirmed that she spoke with FBI agents in both Detroit and when she got home in Portland. Now, January 11th, like we said, they're talking to Eckert. Smith is arrested. Derek Smith and Shane Stant there's warrants out for Stant, but Smith is arrested on the 13th of January, and Sean Eckert is officially arrested there. I guess they were waiting to arrest him to arrest the other people so they wouldn't be tipped off to run, basically, because I think a janitorial paramilitary enthusiast might not have a lot of ties.
Might have the propensity to disappear.
Disappear into a fucking cave somewhere. Yeah. Who knows? So they find out Derek Smith's a former, he worked at a place called Tektronix Inc. He worked there. He went to work 4 years ago before this for a place called Developmental Systems of Milwaukee, supervising mentally challenged adults in their workplaces.
Jesus,
so
really?
That's what this guy did. Yeah. The felonious bounty hunter was a, he watched
developmental. He watched. He's a babysitter, or not necessarily a babysitter.
No, he was
but
just a
caretaker,
a para, basically. It's so now in the last year before this, he became involved in a company called Blackstone, which is a Switzerland-based industrial counter-espionage and counter-terrorism organization, which sounds terrible. And I guess Eckert, who is the bodyguard, he was also involved in that same organization, according to his resume that he had given someone else. So that's where they think they know each other, tie them together. Stant surrenders the next day to the FBI in Phoenix and is charged with conspiring to assault Nancy. While he's being arrested in Phoenix, though, his grandmother, May Loomis, is cited for menacing after going after reporters who had gone to her home to interview her about her, grandson being arrested in the most famous case that's happening right now. She apparently tried to assault a reporter for that, which is pretty fucking cool.
I hope it was Mike Watkins.
Yeah. No shit. It was a KGW. I think it was a Portland reporter.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't even here.
No. He was arrested here. This was in Corbett, Oregon.
Okay.
This was they went to talk to her, and she said, "You get off y'all get off my porch," and fired 3 shotgun rounds into the air, probably. She threw some cats at her. Right. I picture it's her like the cat lady in The Simpsons, the one that has just cats all around her. And she throws them at people.
They're on her body.
Yeah, they're like on her body. So
on her person.
It's Family Guy or Simpsons. That
I don't know.
Shit, I got that one mixed up. I'm not sure.
It's Simpsons.
I think it's Simpsons too. It sounds like Simpsons. Yeah. But then at one point I remember Adam West shooting cats at people. Never mind. Okay, that's where it's from. Anyway, so. No, fuck. It's a long Adam West in the Family Guy episode. He made a cat crossbow and he was shooting cats at people. That's what I was thinking of. I thought it was Family Guy.
Why are we bringing up Batman?
What's happening there? Now, Stant is charged with second-degree conspiracy to commit assault, obviously. Now, Stant, he told investigators at this point that Harding was involved in the conspiracy, quote, from way back. And they said the case may be prosecuted. At this point, they were not saying whether Tonya was a suspect or not. Okay. They said, because at first, Stant's denials were not very convincing, and they would get less and less declarative. At first, they said, was Harding involved in this? He said, absolutely not. And then they said, then they asked the police about it, and they said, is Tonya involved in this? And the police said the investigation's continuing, and we can neither confirm nor deny that. And then they said after that, a couple days go by, and they said, how about now? And he goes, well, you can draw your own conclusions by what's going on.
Right.
So it goes,
all of her friends are around. So,
it goes by there. Well, we'll see. Maybe
smoke and fire and shit like that.
You know how that goes. January.
What's Stant's first name?
That one is it Shane?
Shane
okay. Stant, Derek Smith.
Got it.
Fucking names. And Sean Eckert. That's
too many.
It's too many for
I
me
got
to.
it. Last names only.
Last names only, babe. That's what I was going for. Stant, Smith, Eckert. Going there.
The only reason I ask because in Phoenix I know a Stant family. And
they're from Oregon. These Stants.
Okay, these Stants are from fucking Hawaii. So
okay,
it's an entirely different family.
I would think so. I hope so for their sake. I hope their grandmother isn't chasing people off the porch. Right. January 15th, 1994, Harding and Gillooly together speak with reporters, but they stand in front of reporters, speak with them, but decline to comment about the investigation. What the fuck are you talking to people about? You think they want to know about your double fucking toe loop or whatever the hell I don't know.
Right.
No, they want to know, did you club that lady?
Right.
So, her attorney on the 16th reads a statement on her behalf, just denying involvement in the attack. And at that point, Tonya Harding spoke to reporters on that day, and then she went to practice where all the reporters followed her to stare at her. From now on, she has a gaggle of reporters outside her house, everywhere she goes. They're all there. So she goes and pops off a triple axel in practice.
Beautiful.
For the reporters to fuck yourself. Try to nudge them a little bit. Now, January 18th, 1994, Tonya submits to questioning by the district attorney and the FBI with her lawyers. She's interviewed for over 10 hours. That's brutal. That's a lot of questioning. Can you imagine that?
No.
God damn.
Of like intense.
Especially if you're trying to be evasive. That sounds like a nightmare.
Strategy questions. These are questions that are built
thought about it.
Yeah.
They've done this before.
Right.
5 guys put together. Yeah.
These are built to make you uncomfortable and say some shit you don't want to say.
Yeah.
10 hours of that shit.
10 hours. 8 hours into the interview, her lawyer issued a statement. This is funny. Announcing her separation from Jeff Gillooly. He says, quote, I continue to believe that Jeff is innocent of any wrongdoing. I wish him nothing but the best. In the middle of her interrogation, this is the press release that she gives out, which is odd. Now, a full transcript was released to the press here, and they said basically that Harding changed her story well into a long interview. After hours of denying any involvement in trying to cover up the plot, an FBI agent finally told her that he knew that she lied to him and that he would tell her exactly what how she lied to them. And in the transcript's final passage, Harding stated, quote, I hope everyone understands I'm telling on someone I really care about. I know now Jeff is involved and I'm sorry. So now she basically said, like, you convinced me that he's involved. Okay, I guess he's involved.
So after 8 hours, she was like, he's involved. I got to break up with him.
I'm breaking up with him.
Let's get this press release out.
Let's get that out to everybody.
Then
we'll finish this, and then I'll, I feel terrible, So January 19th, the next day, Gillooly surrenders to the FBI because she just told him whatever. So January 20th, this is just a fast month, man. Yeah. Less than 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, she was the champion.
Right.
Literally 13 days before this, she's the belle of the ball. And now this is happening. She appears on Primetime Live with Diane Sawyer. And says she hasn't done anything wrong. She doesn't know what everybody's talking about. Leave me alone.
Right.
I feel bad for Nancy, but it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Even though everyone I know is arrested for it. Nothing. So
everybody's just trying to give me a real nice late Christmas gift.
That's it. The people are friendly. They just try to help. Oregon's a very friendly place.
And
that's what it is.
If it happens to be that they take some competition out of a lineup for you, it is
what it is.
That's just being sweet.
What do you want from me? So January 27th, 1994, it comes out that Gillooly has been talking about the plot for the last week and possibly implicating Tonya as having allegedly assisted. Tonya she has a close friend who she's living with. She spoke to report. She said, go out and talk to him for me. Yeah. She sent her roommate out to talk to the reporters for her. Just tell him this. You can't imagine being your roommate like that. Well, you don't want to fucking take a phone call for somebody.
No.
Just lie to him. Tell him I'm not here.
No,
like back in the before cell phones.
No.
Imagine having 100 reporters. Just tell him something. No, this does not include. I'm not paying for cable. You're getting all the electric.
I'm out.
I'm sorry.
I'm out. You ate my leftovers yesterday, and you want me to do this now?
You know my name was on the Tupperware. You fucking know I wrote it. I wrote it in marker. You fucking saw it. Don't tell me it rubbed off. It was Sharpie.
Yeah, it's not my fault your boyfriend couldn't keep his Gillooly shut.
Shit, it's fucking Gillooly.
Not me.
Not my fault he's a Gillooly. She says, quote, Tonya was shocked, very hurt. She was believing in Jeff and what he was saying. Yeah. So basically, they were just saying, oh, she's such a victim. Her boyfriend, behind her back, went out and did this horrible thing.
Right.
Terrible. What, don't you feel bad for her?
That seems real plausible. What a shit story.
Yeah. Let's give a statement. Finally, January 28th, 1994, she gives a statement.
Okay.
And said, this is it. This is what she wants to say to everybody. This is fucking amazing here. Now we'll give the first part of it in their own words, because I can't do the whole thing because I don't think my song's long enough.
Okay.
But we are going to do the first part of this and in their own words. So we'll do in their own words. Quote, I would like to begin by saying how sorry I am about what happened to Nancy Kerrigan. I'm embarrassed and ashamed to think anyone close to me could be involved. I was disappointed not to have the opportunity to compete against Nancy at Nationals. I have a great deal of respect for Nancy. My victory at Nationals was unfulfilling without the challenge of skating against Nancy. I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the first part. That's in their own words there. It's hollow, the victory, because I didn't get to skate against her because she's such a...
I want to beat the best.
And she's a competitor, man, and it's what it's all about.
It's like every NFC team saying, we just want to beat the Patriots.
That's it. Yeah, we just want to go take them down.
We want them.
She says, quote, I am responsible, however, for failing to report things I learned about the assault when I returned home from Nationals. Many of you will be unable to forgive me for that. It will be difficult to forgive myself. Mm-hmm. When I returned home Monday, January 10th, 1994, I was exhausted, but still focused on the national championships. Within the next few days, I learned that some persons that were close to me may have been involved in the assault. My first reaction was one of disbelief, and the disbelief was followed by shock and fear. I have since reported this information to the authorities. Although my lawyers tell me that my failure to immediately report this information is not a crime, I know I have let you down, but I have also let myself down. But I still want to represent my country in Lillehammer, Norway next month. Despite my mistakes and my rough edges, I have nothing. I have done nothing to violate the standards of excellence of sportsmanship that are expected in an Olympic athlete. Nancy Kerrigan and I can show the world two different types of figure skating. I look forward to being on the team with her. I've devoted my entire life to one objective, winning an Olympic gold medal for my country. This is my last chance. I ask only for your understanding and the opportunity to represent my country with the best figure skating performance of my life. Thank you. That's it. Everything's fine. She brushed over it quick and I just want to be in the Olympics. Right. How about your fucking boyfriend clubbed back up to that part?
Right.
I'm so sorry. I heard about it and I told him. And then what I did isn't a crime, so don't get mad at me for it. Even though I know you are. The
other part is just like nobody does that to benefit. There has to. The crime itself. There's cameras fucking everywhere.
You have to go so far out of your way to do that. That's the thing.
And for benefit for yourself.
Someone rode a bus for 20 hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
And the only person that benefits from that is fucking you.
That's what I mean. You're the only person. Right. And maybe
some monetary
Yamaguchi.
gain. Yeah,
maybe Christy Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
She was involved. Yamaguchi did it.
Those sneak attacks.
Oh, boy. She Pearl Harbored her like a bastard. Like an old wrestling thing. Pearl Harbor job. They used to say it all the time in wrestling. A sneak attack was a Pearl Harbor job. Like, Jesus Christ. So, January 31st, 1994 is Super Bowl Sunday at the Dockside Saloon and it's in like an industrial area here. Uh-huh. There's a woman and her husband who, they were doing restaurant maintenance on this place. I'm trying to think of the word, maintenance. This lady, Kathy, she went to the garbage bin, opened it up, and discovered items that were in the the middle of her dumpster. Yeah. She was pissed off. She said there were bags and bags and bags of someone else's trash. It was the bags we don't use, so we knew it wasn't ours.
Right.
And they're fucking pissed off about it because if you know, if you work at a restaurant, dumpster space is very valuable to you, and you don't want people filling out your dumpster half full. So what she found in here, she found a commuter ticket to Detroit.
She fucking opened it up.
Yeah, she's like, what is this shit? Who put this here? A ticket from the Ice Skaters Association and an envelope with doodles about Nancy Kerrigan's home arena called the Tony Kent Arena. She called the FBI and left a message. She said, quote, the stuff I found that I thought was important, I thought that was important that I was going to turn over to the FBI. I just put it in my car for safekeeping. So she stuffs this shit in her car, calls the FBI, and watches the Super Bowl. They found in here Tonya and Jeff Gillooly's telephone records, notes found handwritten by Tonya that they matched her handwriting to.
Oh, no.
Talking about, for the one piece of evidence was an envelope. On the envelope, there was doodles, notes, phone numbers, and addresses, most of which in Tanya's hand, a couple things in Jeff Gillooly's hand, all about times, addresses, all about Nancy Kerrigan's training facility.
Assholes.
So they said, we'll just throw it in some dumpster out and no one will find it. We don't want to put it in our garbage, but they stupid. It didn't work.
Light it on fire, you idiot.
Or put in a goddamn apartment complex dumpster. You could put corpses in there and nobody cares. They just throw couches on top of that shit. Nobody will be like, there's a corpse in here. The couch will fit on top. Just put it in. Fuck them.
They put bags around the can. They don't even get it inside it.
No one cares. Oh, by the way, in addition to this, they find out today also that law enforcement investigators have been following and videotaping everybody since January 10th.
Oh, no.
They knew about payphone calls between people at certain times of right after they took. So they would like goose them and talk to them and then see what they would do. So they'd then go watch Gillooly, go talk back to her and tell her what happened. And they would just send it back through the mix. February 1st, 94. This is less than a month old. This happened 3 weeks ago. That's how crazy this is. Gillooly's attorney negotiates a plea bargain. A month ago, this wasn't even a thing, and now there's plea bargains happening. Someone's on Inside Edition. This is fucking insane. In exchange for testimony regarding all involved parties in the attack, he said later on, by the way, he'll apologize, and he'll say any apology coming from me must ring hollow to Nancy Kerrigan, because now he's a good guy, obviously. Right. Gillooly and Eckert plead guilty to racketeering. Stant and Smith, those two idiots, the janitor, paramilitary guy, and the felonious bounty hunter, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit second-degree assault, and we'll talk about how much time, but all of them end up getting prison time out of this.
Really?
Absolutely. The judge also notes that it could have been a much more serious injury, hitting people with batons like that. The Shane Stant guy here, they said he traveled to the Boston area. They found out all this, and on December 29th, he stayed until January 3rd. They have telephone records that show Stant placed a call January 1st from his hotel to the rink where Kerrigan conducts her practice sessions. And Stant again then moved to a hotel in Romulus, Michigan on January 4th. He receives a phone call there on January 5th from Gillooly and Harding's home phone in Oregon. And on January 12th, they all confessed to the FBI. And Smith and Stant were, they said, unable to carry out in Boston, so they went to Detroit to do it. Smith admitted driving the getaway car after being paid $2,000 for this job.
$2,000.
This whole thing was $2,000.
And a bus ticket.
So that's amazing, though. This whole thing, this whole entire giant famous thing where people are making movies about now, still $2,000. This whole plot. It's fucking insane. So, February 2nd, 94. Now, like we said, everything she does, there's 50 reporters there from different countries. They're all over the place. They film her falling during practice multiple times. And then when she leaves, she goes out to drive away and her pickup won't start.
Oh, no.
So she's sitting there trying to turn it over while 50 fucking news reporters are shouting shit out at her and clicking photos and filming
screaming, come on, you piece of shit, start.
She's like, not now. She's got to now call AAA. So actually, she could probably fix it. She'd get under that hood real
Under
good.
the hood, spraying starting fluid into the car.
Jesus Christ. So, February 5th, 1994, a disciplinary panel of U.S. Figure Skating Association, they stated reasonable grounds existed to believe Harding had violated the sport's code of ethics. Her admitted failure to report information about an assault on a fellow competitor, supported by her FBI transcripts, resulting in Harding being formally charged with making false statements about her knowledge, which we'll talk about in a second. The panel recommends that she face a disciplinary hearing, but Claire Ferguson, the president of the association, decided not to suspend Harding's membership before the hearing took place, which won't be till after the Olympics.
Oh.
So she's going to get to compete in the Olympics there.
I do remember that.
And they said even if the board had suspended her, she would have filed an emergency injunction that would have made it to the next hearing anyway. So either way, she would have definitely been able to compete in the Olympics. Now, February 7th, 1994, 30 days later, news media, again, they're all over her practices. She, at one point during the practice, has to run out of the arena barefoot to stop a tow truck from hauling away her illegally parked pickup truck.
Why would you park your truck illegally going into practice when you've got all those people
Probably nowhere to park because there's a shitload of reporters with vans and shit there. I don't know what it was, but
park down the block because one of those people is going to call the fucking cops when you're inside.
To watch you run out barefoot and shake. So now she, in a week, has been, her truck didn't start. Now she's barefoot in the street trying to talk a tow truck driver out of towing her truck, which is...
It's futile. That's never happening.
A fucking mess. Yeah. February 10th, 94, she talks to Connie Chung.
Did she really?
Sat down with Connie Chung. Also, she files a lawsuit now. It's a lawsuit to retain her place on the figure skating team. It's to block the Olympic Committee's impending hearing on her eligibility. Also demands $20 million in damages.
Whoa.
$20 million. It's a 16-page suit asking for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction to stop their hearing in Oslo. This was, wow. She doesn't get $20 million. Let's just say that.
Okay, good. How do you get to that figure? You think that that's what you're going to make in your career if you don't have this slanderous information about you? I don't know. That's crazy.
The pain and suffering.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Being filmed barefoot trying to talk to a tow truck driver. I'm not sure.
The indignity.
Her lawyer says, quote, she will take the ice and make everyone proud. So that's good. Her coach says, quote, Tonya is a girl who can skate. Let's fucking hope so. Unfortunately, she's had a hard time taking herself out of where she came from. It seems hard for her to leave that world, just like every other athlete. Yeah. She stayed home, and it's the same shit. Gender makes no difference in this shit. There's a lot of athletes who've come from the wrong side of the tracks. They've risen above that. My hope for Tonya is that she'll get herself up to where she should be. That's what her coach says. Now, February 15th, 1994, an explicit 1991 videotape clip of Tonya topless was shown on A Current Affair, which was a tabloid weird, bullshit show. These are still frames from a video clip. These still frames are also published in The Sun, which is a British tabloid, as we've all seen in the grocery store stands. The New York Post reports that Jeff Gillooly supplied the videotape for an undisclosed amount of money.
What an asshole.
He's a piece of shit, this guy. Yeah, he's that guy. He's a complete piece of shit. That's
revenge porn, isn't it?
It's it sort of is, but then it's kind of like she's in on it after a while. She sees the ball is rolling, so she might as well get a few bucks out of it. But it's still fucking, I don't know if it's revenge so much as it's cashing in.
That's revenge porn.
It's revenge porn, but it's not
making money from it.
Yeah, that's the difference, I think. It's not just to spite someone, where that's what I'm just thinking, revenge. Technically it would be, but I think it's more of I'm a scumbag, and I have this tape that could be worth money for someone, and someone else's privacy is of no meaning to me here.
That's what happened with Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson too.
Yeah, and then someone, I guess, took that tape, and then they ended up getting paid.
I think it was Joe Francis.
Probably.
I think that's true.
Yeah,
I think that is true.
He's probably got tapes of everyone fucking.
Such a scumbag.
He's got tapes of you fucking, Jimmie.
I hope
he's got tapes of me fucking. He's got tapes of everyone fucking.
I hope he vomits to it.
So that's what happened there. That, by the way, not the last word on that videotape.
Okay.
February 17th, 94, Kerrigan and Harding share the ice for a practice session.
Oh, boy.
They're on the same team.
That's awkward as fuck.
I would say. Yeah. How's that knee? What do you say to her? Hey, Nance, how's the knee doing? 400 press members are there to document this, as you can imagine.
There's more press than people watching.
Yeah, Scott Hamilton worked himself up into a big tizzy about it, and he said the sport was being depicted as a tabloid event, and which is true.
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan wore the same skating costume at the practice session that she was wearing when she got clubbed.
Right.
And Kerrigan, they asked her, was that on purpose or did you just not know? And she said it was deliberate. She said, quote, humor is good. It's empowering. So, yeah, even she gets it. Thanks, Nance. Thank you, Nancy Kerrigan.
Good for you.
Yeah. Beat some sense into her. So, the Olympics here, Tonya skates, and in the middle of her free skate routine, she stops and starts to cry. Do you remember seeing this?
Put her hands on her face,
breaks the fuck down and cries, telling the judges that her laces had broken and the replacement laces were too short and she couldn't do her thing. The judges allowed to let her skate on, allowed to let her redo it a little later on.
Okay.
She could go back and do it. She wound up coming in 7th in the free skate and 8th overall at the games. Not good. Oksana Bayul won gold.
Yes.
And Nancy Kerrigan won silver and became America's sweetheart.
You bet.
And she went on SNL.
Yep.
And she went on fucking Wheaties boxes and everything you've ever seen. Disney. Remember the Disney commercials with Nancy Kerrigan when she's fucking twirling and shit? Right. Oh my God.
Well, she
got paid.
She was an ice capade princess for
fucking
Disney forever.
She got paid like a motherfucker. But also we find out Kerrigan, I'm starting to like this Nancy. The more research I do on Nancy Kerrigan, the more I fucking like her. Because not only because of that, I think that's cool. But then during the ceremony of the medal ceremony, she's captured on microphone. I don't know if you remember this, saying some shit about Oksana Bayul that's hilarious.
Really?
Oh yeah. She was, I guess, she was told that Bayul was causing a delay in the ceremony because she was redoing her makeup. So Kerrigan says, oh, come on. So she's going to get out here and cry anyway again. What's the difference? Which is fucking great.
She's just going to ruin the shit.
Who cares about her fucking make? Come on, get it over with. Later on, when they asked her about it, she said, I was afraid the crowd was losing enthusiasm and was starting to leave. It wasn't meant as a slight toward Oksana, which is true.
Yeah.
Hey, the crowd was laughing 2 minutes ago and now you're fucking having a delay. Let's go with this shit. Get the show going. As a comedian, we know crowd enthusiasm.
You need the momentum.
It has a thing.
Right.
Once it goes, it goes. You don't get
gone.
it back. Yeah,
right.
Once water pours out of the bottle, try putting it back into it. Once you've poured it on the ground, it's not working.
Right.
So March 16th, 1994, Tonya pleads guilty to conspiracy to hinder prosecution as a Class C felony offense. She and her lawyer negotiated a plea bargain ensuring no further prosecution, and that's very important. Okay. They said, this is it. No matter what comes out, this is it. The judge conducted a routine questioning, and Tonya said she knew what she was doing. She said she was knowingly and voluntarily entering into the plea agreement. Her plea admissions were knowing of the assault plot after the fact, setting on a cover story with Gillooly and Eckert, and on January 10th, and witnessing payphone calls to Smith, affirming the story on January 10th and 11th because they had records of that, and lying to the FBI with the story on January 18th.
Yeah.
She is going to get, you ma'am, may fuck off.
Right.
3 years of probation.
Yeah.
$100,000 fine.
That's tough.
That's steep. 500 hours community service. She agreed to reimburse the county $10,000 in legal expenses, undergo a psychiatric examination, which is probably the most important part of this fucking thing at this point, and volunteered to give $50,000 to the Special Olympics charity, which I don't know what they have to do with any of this shit.
Yeah, why?
Should give it to Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
The Oregon sentencing deadline or guidelines carried a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. So she got fucking lucky. And then even more lucky, Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, donates $25,000 to her legal fees.
Really?
Why?
Why would he do that?
Why would you do that? I feel bad for this because he's an Oregon guy. She's a local girl.
Yeah,
that's all I can imagine.
That's what it is.
And like I said, you feel bad for her. They also said she made approximately $600,000 from her Inside Edition deal for her Inside Edition interview. $600,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. And 94 money.
$2,000 to get that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. In the end, she's even with the $100,000 fine and the $50,000 in the Olympics, she's up.
She's coming up.
Her plea conditions also imposed her U.S. Figure Skating Association resignation. So she had to withdraw from the World Championships. Couldn't do that.
Wow, $600,000.
Yeah, that's insane. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. District Attorney said that if Harding had not agreed to the deal, he would have proceeded with an indictment indictment on all possible charges. And so, yeah, he said that the plea agreement was satisfactory to Harding because she was avoiding prison. Yeah. And also the prosecutor said, we would have prevailed at trial.
Yeah.
The skating people said, quote, we don't know if Tonya's innocent or guilty if she was involved before during the national championship. We're going to stay out of this, is what they said.
You don't know if she pled guilty.
Yeah, that's what we got now. March 21st, 1994. This is 2 months later. All this has happened in 2 months. This last
unbelievable.
A Portland grand jury issues an indictment stating there's evidence that Harding participated in the attack plot. The indictment includes 2 months of investigation and witness testimonies from coaches, friends, everybody around, Eckert's people, all these people. But the problem is she's not charged in the indictment due to the terms of her plea agreement that says she can't be charged. So they just did this as a show.
Okay.
So May 16th, 1994, this is 2 months later, Eckert pleads guilty to racketeering. Like we said, Smith and Stant plead guilty to conspiracy to commit second-degree assault. All of them begin 18-month prison sentences.
That is tough.
That's tough. May 30th, 94. This is fucking less than 4 months after this happened. A docudrama, a fucking movie is already out about this. 4 months, like it wasn't even. They didn't even have the whole story when they were writing the script and filming, probably. It's on NBC. It's called Tonya and Nancy, The Inside Story. And it debuts to lukewarm ratings.
Yeah.
But at that point, and in 2 weeks, OJ would happen. So then it's over.
It's done.
No one gave a fuck at that point anymore. This case disappeared.
Of course.
June 94, they didn't disappear to the figure skating people, though. Claire Ferguson, the president of the U.S. Figure Skating Association, voted to strip Tonya of her 1994 title, the one that she won because Nancy was hurt. So rather than move the silver up to the gold, it's just there's no winner in the second and third and whatever.
Oh, so it's like the BCS.
Yeah, on her list it just says first and it's crossed out.
Ouch.
So she didn't actually, not there. So she did that. She's also banned for life from participating in USFSA events as either a skater or a coach. Yeah, and it has, I mean, obviously she can do professional skating shit that doesn't have to do with them, but nothing that has to do with that sphere of all. And at that point, few people wanted to work with her because they were like, she was toxic. Jesus Christ. If you went near her, 50 reporters were going to follow you too. So and this is when skating blew the fuck up in America. When it got huge because of this.
Started with the club.
And she benefited none. Nancy Kerrigan really took the windfall for that.
Good.
I mean, she got everything.
She deserved it.
She deserved it, yeah. No shit. June 22nd, 1994, this is when she starts to
unravel. She
can't do figure skating anymore. That just happened. So she's in Portland. She appears as a wrestling manager.
What?
I swear to Christ, for AAA Wrestling, which is the Mexico promotion. It's a big Mexican promotion, which was doing a show in Portland. She is the manager for the tag team Los Gringos Locos, which is Eddie Guerrero, who you might know who he is. Fantastic wrestler, multi-generation family.
Also.
Dead. And his partner was a guy named Art Barr, who you don't know who he is, but Art Barr is a wrestler also. He was a pretty decent wrestler and had to go down to wrestle in Mexico because he was convicted for rape.
Oh my God.
Of an underage girl in Oregon.
Shit?
So he goes down to Mexico because they said they don't give a fuck about your past down here.
Right.
So he did that. That's why he couldn't come back here. And people wanted to hire him in the States because he was a good wrestler, but they couldn't get past the fact that he had an underage. He was the Zumhoff before Zumhoff.
Wow.
And he's on our list. Believe me, this Art Barr. So she managed him.
Unbelievable.
6 degrees of crime and sports. I'm telling you, they're all connected. We can connect all our athletes in 6 degrees or less.
Guerrero was a great wrestler and a good dude.
Amazing. Yeah, he was a good. His whole family was they were wrestling for generations. I mean, they were.
He was like
back
a
in
nasty wrestler.
Hector. He was
a bad dude, right?
But both. He'd do both, but he was so fucking good.
I just remember his like.
Oh, he was slick. He had great moves. His matches were fucking tight. He was really good. He was one of the best in the world, honestly.
Like in the wrestling video games, he was always like moving his hands with like a menacing face.
You see, like him and Benoit wrestle. That was a fucking match. Like those two would. Oh, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
So she does that for some reason. It needs a couple bucks probably. 1994. She also does an interview with Rolanda. Remember Rolanda?
I do.
Rolanda Watts was the host.
What the shit?
Black lady had her like talk show. She was fucking
That's
cool.
really-
I remember watching Rolanda.
What happened to her?
It was on for 3 years, and then she
just went
syndicated
away?
show for 3. That
She
was
was
when
great.
everyone had a talk show
Yeah,
in
that's a good
'94.
point.
So yeah,
Rolanda was good.
Rolanda was
Yeah.
good. Yeah, she went away, and I think she does like speaking and all that
I'm sure
shit
she
now. Now, during this interview, which I watched, Tonya says that her brother, who molested her, is the only person that she's ever hated. And, also says that her mother abused her, but says she forgives her mother because her mother had a drinking problem and didn't know any better and was doing her best, basically. Okay. And she appreciates the stuff her mom did for her also. She's trying to balance that and work it out.
And look like a nice person.
And look like a decent person. Yeah, exactly. Because at this point, she's trying to rehab her image here.
It's a battered one.
She's trying to say, I can forgive.
Right.
Wink, wink. So,
her image took more of a smash than Kerrigan's knee.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, God,
big time.
She was the worst person on earth.
She was known as a horrible person. July 13th, 94, Jeff Gillooly is sentenced to 2 years in jail and fined $100,000 for racketeering.
And he didn't make $600,000.
He didn't make $600,000. He's not even managing fucking Eddie Guerrero.
No.
Also, this year, Harding is cast in a low-budget action movie called Breakaway. It's not released till 96. Here's the breakdown summary of it. Quote, Myra is a trusted courier for drug lord Anton. When she wants to retire, Anton plans to make sure her retirement is very permanent, as in dead. While on her last drop, she learns of his plan and is able to abscond with a large amount of cash to make her getaway worthwhile. Her friends Rick and Gina assist her in her action-packed escape. Tonya plays Gina.
Okay.
And it stars Joe Estevez, who is Martin Sheen's brother. Who looks exactly like him and does all of Martin Sheen's voiceover work.
That's amazing.
He does his ADR. That's who you get. You get Joe Estevez, which is 4.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So, piece of shit. I saw the screenshots. Not a good fucking movie. Looks like a pile of shit.
Joe
Estevez.
That's brutal.
July 26th, 1994, Penthouse Magazine announces that its September issue will feature different stills of Harding and Gillooly having sex from the videotape.
No.
The 35-minute sex tape would also be copied and marketed exclusively by Penthouse. Both Gillooly and Harding used the same agent to negotiate equal payment for the Penthouse video sale.
Look at fucking Flint, right? That's Flint's magazine.
Yeah. No, Hustler's Flint.
That's right.
Penthouse is Guccione. He's a scumbag.
Okay.
Yeah. And not even funny scumbag like Flint, who's a ball breaker.
Yeah,
He's
Flint
funny
was,
as shit.
Yeah. He was just
calling out, getting conservative fucking politicians. I love his whole thing. I'll give anybody $100,000 who shows evidence of a conservative politician doing, cheating on their wife or anything morally bad because they're the moral people.
Right.
I thought that was great in the 90s.
Brilliant.
It was well needed then.
And his magazine needed it.
Yeah, and it helped him too. But yeah, they use the same agent to do this, so they get equal pay for it. October 7th, 1994, the Tonya Harding fan club, which at one point had 2,000 members during the Olympic time before that, begins to disband. A disagreement between Harding and some of the officers of her fan club over disbursement of money in the fan club account had flared on several occasions, including once at the bank where the account is based.
Wow.
So she's arguing with people about her fan club in fucking public.
Just trying to take money out, and they're like, there isn't any.
Jesus. And November 3rd, 94, a Portland artist named DeForest unveils 60 silkscreen prints of Tonya Harding and is charging $5,000 a pop for them.
Whoa.
No thanks. Christmas Eve, 1994, Tonya skates as Mrs. Santa Claus at the Clackamas Town Center during her first public skating performance since the Olympics. She's just trying to make people at home. She's like, I need to be able to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So, I'll be Mrs. Claus, and then will everyone like me again? In 1995, there's a promotional music event, as they call it, that was with her and her band. Dude, she's just like a fucking football player.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Going home, she's playing in bed.
Just
stop.
Grasping.
Her band, the Golden Blades, they were booed off the stage at their only performance in Portland, Oregon in 1995. So they tried to have a band, went out there, booed off the stage, said, well, we're never fucking doing that again. Bad idea.
In a city that accepts everybody that's local.
Not that one. This sucks. We do have musical standards. We're sorry. This is the year the Seinfeld episode, The Understudy, comes out too, which is about Jerry going out with a Broadway understudy, who is an understudy to Bette Midler, and George, during a softball game, runs over Bette Midler and hurts her at home plate. Not on purpose, but whatever. So Bette Midler's hurt, and Jerry's girlfriend, the understudy, has to play the part, and it's a total Tonya Harding. It's
Beautiful.
just a Tonya Harding take. Everyone's yelling at her, following her around. Jerry's like, I can't even perform anymore. People are yelling out Gillooly at me. So it's that thing. And then at the end of the episode, she goes on to perform. She's like, I don't care. I'm going to do great. And she goes out there and she stops in the middle. Like, she sings 2 lines and stops and starts crying. And she's like, my shoelace is untied. I need to start over. I need to start over. It's a total Tonya Harding knockoff, but it's funny as shit.
Yeah.
She also gets married again that year.
To who?
This is when things are, what is the crime and sports rule? When things are going great and everything is perfect and your life is spiraling out of control, get married. It'll help.
Have a kid,
That's
one of the other.
when you're going to make your best decisions. Marries a man named Michael Smith, who's apparently an IT guy.
Okay.
He does computer shit. In February of 1996, out of a weird thing, Tonya tells police she was abducted at knife point in Oregon by a bushy-haired man. No one was ever caught. Nothing was ever done about it.
Right.
She just reported that to the police.
The guy that ran over my brother.
Let you know. Same guy, apparently. October 29th, 96, this is wild. She's in a bar in Portland playing video poker. And a 81-year-old woman named Alice Olson passes out, and Tonya gives her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and saves her life till the ambulance gets there. It gives her mouth-to-mouth, and she lives till the ambulance gets there and all that.
Can you imagine waking up and being like, thank you so much for... Are you Tonya Harding?
What the fuck happened? How long was I asleep? What's going on here? Did we both die? What's happening?
Being saved by Tonya Harding.
Weird.
Do
weird.
you wish to die?
I don't know. That would be the weirdest thing to look up and be like, that's Tonya Harding.
Are you shitting
right over
me right now?
I don't think so. She also divorces Michael Smith that year, obviously. 97, she's at a Reno Renegades hockey game, and apparently she's supposed to do a 2-minute performance before a Reno Renegades hockey game, and she's subjected to booing, catcalls, and people threw batons at her.
What?
Until she left the ice.
They brought batons to throw
They
at
knew
her.
she was going to be there, and they brought batons.
Wow.
So the hockey fans are rugged. So,
I mean, at a place where hitting people is legal.
Yeah, so she had to skate off the ice.
Seems like she'd fit right in.
Jesus Christ. October 1997, Tanya's pickup truck is stolen from the Vancouver Mall parking lot. Her and this fucking pickup truck, man.
God, Jesus.
Jesus, it gets worse with the pickup truck.
Are you sure it wasn't just impounded?
That's probably it. It was just fucking repossessed. February 98, Fox airs the first ever face-to-face interview between Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. And it was pretty boring.
Really?
Yeah, it was not really that eventful.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I'm just, sorry about everything that happened. And that's, things are life.
Where's Kerrigan with her fucking humor?
That's what I mean.
Knock
Kerrigan
her
should have
out.
been like, what, bitch? Fuck you. Threw her chair over. I don't give a fuck if this is not Jerry Springer. I'm turning this shit into Jerry Springer. We're throwing down right now.
Sit back, Bryant Gumbel. We got things to do.
Yeah, calm down, Connie Chung. I got to talk to this fucking lady right here. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Listen, Diane Sawyer, I don't need your input on this. Jesus Christ. February of 99, Tonya says that the way has been cleared for her to return to skating, and she's all good, and she's going to return to skating. And the United States Figure Skating Association says nothing has changed. She's not cleared for shit.
She's still banned.
She's banned as fuck still. Right. Never changed. I don't know where the hell that came from. Right. Made that shit up. Now, Jesus Christ. October 18th, 1999, she plans to make her skating debut professionally, doing one of those ice capade type shit in the ESPN Professional Skating Championships in Huntington, West Virginia, which she should be right at home there.
Yeah.
That's perfect. She places second. And she thinks in her mind that a strong showing like this is going to lead to offers from ice shows like the Ice Capades and other TV skating specials, and nobody gives her shit. She's offered nothing. whatsoever.
Ouch.
God damn it.
Big swing and a miss.
Big cut and a miss here. February 24th, 2000, she is teaching skating at the mall in Portland.
Because those who can't teach, James.
Those who can't teach. And she is teaching at a mall in Portland. And those who really can't teach at the mall. Yeah. Because that's going to be the worst one, whatever. She is living with a man named Darren Silver, who sounds like he sells young Asian women on the dark web or something. I'm Darren Silver. What do you need?
Haired middle-aged white man.
Yeah, that's it. Darren Silver-haired middle-aged white man. They live in Camas, Washington. They've been living together for about 3 years at this point. So right after she separated from Smith, probably the day of, she moves in with this guy. There's a Tuesday night, and she's booked for investigation of fourth-degree domestic assault after an altercation that left Darren Silver's face bruised and bloodied. Now,
she is tough.
Let's talk about the most white trash domestic violence incident in the history of crime and sports. And that's fucking saying something.
Deep.
This is deep. This is 100. There's a lot of domestic violence. And
there's been dudes that shove women's faces into drywall.
Oh, it's all trashy. This is the most specific, though, to white trash. It's amazing. Okay. Witnesses said that Tonya attacked Silver as they returned from a trip to Oregon to play video poker. So they went to play video poker. She loves the video poker.
She's a fan of it.
They come back. I guess Darren told the police that they argued during the trip and that as soon as they got home, Harding immediately attacked him. He says, quote, "She was hooking me like Mike Tyson."
Wow.
He said he finally grabbed her arms after about a half a dozen punches. Both were intoxicated. Apparently, she repeatedly punched his face and groin, and then beat him with a hubcap, Jimmie. Thank you. Good night, everybody. That's the most white trash crime in sports. She beat a man. We've never had hubcap violence.
She rained blows upon him
and then said, "This hurts."
Did she take it off the car?
I hope. They probably have him laying around the front yard. Let's be realistic here. There's hubcaps everywhere. Yeah. Just laying around. This one fell off. Just leave it there. Fuck it. She beat him with a fucking hubcap to the point of arrest. That's white trash, man. She ends up being released an hour later and ordered to appear in court, obviously. Eventually, she's sentenced to 3 days in jail and 10 hours of community service for this whole thing.
Those are heavy, too, the old ones. Like, the new ones are plastic and they're garbage.
No, this was probably from like a
62 Cadillac
pickup
or something.
truck. It was probably from a 81 Ford F-150.
That heavy center cap.
That kiss. Ting, beating him with it. Bloodied him up. January 2002, she is living in a home in Washington State, and she is evicted for non-payment of rent.
Ouch.
She owes her landlord $4,530 in rent, late fees, and other costs. She'd been living there since August of 2000, but apparently between November 2001 and January 2002, she paid nothing.
Wow.
And is called out for it and kicked the fuck out of her joint.
3 months rent.
3 months rent, yeah, $1,500 a month, probably something like that. Well, with fees too, late fees. Who
probably
knows?
$1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month, probably. Yeah, which is not bad. That's good for her. 2002, she appears on TV. She appears on not in an interview or anything like that. She appears on The Weakest Link, the game show.
What?
The game show, The Weakest Link.
They tested her brain?
They tested her brain with it was the 15 Minutes of Fame edition.
Ouch.
Along with Kato Kalin.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
That's where she's fallen.
If you're sitting next to Kato.
Yes.
You don't do it.
No.
Who else is doing it? Kato? No. How's that? What the fuck are you doing?
Unbelievable.
Jesus fucking Christ almighty.
How did she get to that point?
It gets worse somehow. Also, later that year, she boxed against Paula Jones.
I remember that.
Bill Clinton sexual harassment accuser. Paula Jones with the weird nose. That one.
She beat her, though.
Yeah, she beat up Paula Jones, but Paula Jones is the office chick from
the beauty queen.
Fucking Arkansas. She's not a professional athlete. Tonya Harding better kick the shit out of some chick from an office. April 20th, 2002, she's driving her 1977 Dodge pickup. That's what she's driving.
The same truck.
In 2002. Wow. A 77 Dodge pickup. In the early morning of April 20th, when it veers off the road and crashes into a ditch.
I'm not driving it anymore.
Not anymore. She has a 23-year-old male passenger there too with her. Not bad.
How about that?
How about that? Early morning.
Good for her.
Look at you at 32.
Getting some roadhead.
That's right. Not bad. Fucking, she's driving. Yeah. She'd have to be. Nobody was hurt. She claimed the power steering on the truck went out. Just went out like that. She said, but the cop also said, well, let's go ahead and give you a field sobriety test and see how your power steering's doing, sweetheart. And she fails it.
Of course.
Her blood alcohol level is measured at 0.16, which is double the legal limit.
You bet.
So not okay. That's bad too because she's on probation from the assault on her boyfriend still. 2 years.
No.
Yeah, 2 years of probation. The problem is she has less than a month to go on her 2-year probation too.
Oh no!
So she's
timing
right fucking there. Yeah, this shows you you can't just wait. Condition of her 2-year probation was that she would consume no alcohol at all. After the DUI charge, she said she's already been served the probation violation thing. So the judge, he's got a lot of leeway here. If he finds sufficient evidence that she drank, he could sentence her to more than 5.5 months in jail just on the probation violation. The judge had suspended 167 days of her 180 days term back in 2000. She says that she has a lot of future plans and she's not worried about this. She said she's going to teach skating, quote, back east. I don't know. She's from Oregon. There's no back anywhere for you. That's where you're from.
It's just out east.
It's just out east.
Right.
Just east.
Right.
She said also she's got, quote, a lot of other stuff I'm sure you'll hear about. And a lot of other stuff. I got stuff going on. Her lawyer said she hasn't driven or drunk alcohol since the DUI. He says, quote, I think she's doing well considering the circumstances, which is fucking interesting. Now, December 2002, she's back in court, but not on the receiving end of it, on the giving end of it, because she is suing a hot sauce company.
For what?
For making Tonya hot sauce. Suing a company that is the creator of Tonya hot sauce. This apparently, and I saw the label, you can look it up. It's shown, it has a caricature of Tonya smoking in front of a broken down trailer. Holding a pair of ice skates in one hand and a hubcap in the other.
Yes.
And the quote on it says, quote, not for the weak need, guaranteed to assault your taste buds.
And burn the hair off your Gillooly.
That's all that it needed. It's a lead pipe cinch, you'll love it. This is fantastic. These people are great. I'm sorry. That's fucking hilarious.
Brilliant.
She's pissed off about it. Jesus Christ. It's Made in Oregon Stores, who is the distributor of this Tonya hot sauce. In October, they sent a letter claiming that it defames Miss Harding and unfairly defamed her and, quote, unfairly reminded her of upsetting, misunderstood events. Okay?
Don't buy it.
Don't fucking buy it.
Get the fuck away from it.
It threatens a lawsuit for misappropriating her name and image. They said her lawyer said Tonya has been punished more than enough for what she did or didn't do. Wow, this is a mess.
She pled guilty. She did it.
Oh my God. She says she doesn't want to take it off the shelf though. She says she wants to know how many bottles have been sold and to be paid a reasonable share of the royalties. She wants royalties for this shit. This is fucking funny, man. This is just a mess. The hot sauce's creator's name is John Farmer. He's an airline employee who says he says, quote, I have an attorney who basically thinks the whole thing is laughable. It's like editorial cartoons we see every day throughout the country.
Right.
If I have to give a percentage of the profits to her, I demand she gives it to Mothers Against Drunk Driving. This fucking guy's great. I love John Farmer. What airline you work for, brother? Because I'm going to fucking go straight there.
God, Jesus, wow. That's awesome.
That is amazing. So, December 2002, a car is pulled over that she is in. She is not the driver, but she's arrested for a probation violation anyway because she has 2 unopened cans of beer on her person. She's just hanging out with beer.
You can't hold it, though?
She's not allowed to have alcohol as a term of her probation, but she didn't drink it, so it's January 15th.
What happened with the lawsuit, though? Did she win or lose?
It ended up being fucking, I think it didn't matter anymore because of it got thrown out. It was
satire.
Satire is exactly what it was. So January 15th, 2003, judge rules that she did not violate her probation by having 2 unopened cans of beer in the car, because that could have been for somebody else. There could have been a million explanations for it, and it wasn't in her system, so it didn't matter, but still, another court case.
Right.
She's out on the street. She's got to be a fucking mess. She doesn't even have a home. She's been evicted a month before this. God knows what she's fucking doing.
She's suing John Farmer.
God knows. She's suing John Farmer for hot sauce. It's crazy. One night she's sitting home, and it's funny because she's got that roommate. She's telling her to give statements. She's got guys living with her, the young guy from the truck. And there's a knock at the door, and she's like, who the fuck is that? Go get it. And they said they won't want to talk to me. You have to come out here. You have to come out here. She's like, fine. She comes out here, and she's got to be expecting anything at this point. But what she didn't expect was my grandma. And it was my grandma. And she said, Ma, how is it you've come to arrive? Ma, why are you here? Why you do this? Ma, you're such a pretty girl. You're a nice girl. You come up. So what? Your mother hit you a little bit. My mother, you should see back in Italy. They beat me with the pipes. Oh, you know about that too. But you beat people too, but not for no reason like me. But you're a bad person. I want to know too. Ma, how many husbands you gonna have? Well, that's what you pretty girl. You not have no kids already. You're getting older now. You're 33 years old. You put on. I don't know why. Why you do this too? This is no good. I'm very sad.
Called her fat.
No, put on. She's a whore. She says she's a whore.
I thought you said put on.
No, you put on. Said, I'm sorry. My grandmother thinks everyone's a putan. Grandma, calm down. But what? She has the one boy and the other boy. I don't know what I don't judge, but I just think maybe your life not going how you want, and I'm very sad for you, and it's no good. I'm sorry. I have to go now. Poof! And in a puff of marinara sauce and homemade things, she's gone. And Tonya feels worse about herself than she ever felt from her mother, and that's welcome to Grandma. Enjoy. Grandma calls every female one we have a putan, because she thinks a woman could be married for 30 years and go to church every Sunday, and she'd be like, mother putan. And this one, something about her would be, I'm like, what do you want from people, Grandma? So anyway,
look at her shoes.
Look at her. Look at the shoes. So you think it can't get any weirder?
Yeah.
Well, let's get weirder. February 22nd, once again, 6 degrees of crime and sports here. The Pyramid in Memphis, she makes her official women's professional boxing debut on the same card as the Mike Tyson-Clifford Etienne fight.
I remember this, too.
Full circle, bitches, full circle. Remember we were talking about Etienne? I was like, don't worry, we'll get to Tonya Harding. This is what the fuck I was talking about here. She fights Samantha Browning, who is a Mississippi house cleaner who had only been in bar fights previously, is what she said. Wow, this is what's on an undercard of a professional fight here.
That's pretty awesome, though.
Apparently
that's
so.
a fight I want to watch. I
think
I have. I remember it. I think I've seen it. Didn't she win this?
No,
too?
she loses a 4-round split decision against Samantha Browning here. She's 0-1. But
did she have braids in this?
I think so.
I think so.
Like ponytail braids. Yeah, they can't have your hair sticking in your face and shit while you're trying to box. So that's February 23rd. March 15th, she's boxing again at the Grand Casino in Gulfport, Mississippi, versus Shannon Birmingham. She wins unanimous decision this time in 4 rounds. So that's 1-1. March 28th, 2 weeks later,
This is now her career?
This is now her career.
Wow.
She's at the Creek Nation Gaming Center in Tulsa. This is what I mean. It keeps coming. She fights Alejandra Lopez and wins a unanimous decision in 4. She's 2-1. June 13th, 2003, at the Chinook Winds Casino in Lincoln City, Oregon. She fights Emily Gosa and wins a unanimous decision in 4 rounds. She's 3-1. August 2nd, 2003. There's a lot of fights in a few months. She's at the Silver City Cabaret in Dallas, fighting Melissa Yanis, and she loses by TKO in 1 minute and 13 seconds.
Oh, no.
She gets the shit knocked out of her by this girl who knows what the fuck she's doing. Brings her to 3-2. She also does a boxing match on The Man Show. Do you remember this?
Really?
Post Corolla Kimmel, when it was Rogan and Stanhope.
Oh, my God.
She boxed Doug Stanhope.
Really?
She beat the shit out of Doug Stanhope. And Stanhope later on, during the podcast, he said that the fight was fixed because Tonya refused to fight a man.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think she could take him, if I'm being honest with you.
Doug's not a big dude.
He's not a big dude, and he's fucked up half the time, and she's an angry chick. She could fuck him up, I think.
That is kind of, but he's known as being fucking straight up honest.
Yeah. I believe him. I believe him 100%.
I'm just shocked.
He has no shame.
Right.
She beat him up. He'd be like, she kicked my ass. Right. Tough chick. I don't think that, but I think she could take him anyway.
I think that, she should have just fought a man.
Yeah, she didn't want to, apparently. So March 23rd, 2004, there is a boxing match planned against Tracy Carlton in Oakland, but it is canceled due to a death threat against Tonya.
Oh.
There. So they canceled. It must have been a serious or credible one here.
Maybe it was Doug's girlfriend. Bingo.
Ooh, fucking bingo. She's pissed.
Yeah.
June 24, 2004, after not boxing for a year, she fights in Edmonton, Alberta versus Amy Johnson, and apparently she gets repeatedly and reportedly booed as she enters the ring, and when she was beaten in the third round, the fans went batshit crazy for Amy Johnson. Yeah, they hated Tonya. So she's 3-3, and she calls it a career in boxing. She says it's something to do with having asthma, and she can't do it anymore. So it's funny. She never had asthma while she was skating or when she was fighting 4 rounds. Asthma didn't affect her. She's getting the shit knocked out of her. All of a sudden, she's a little wheezy. Got some wheezing going on. At this point, she needs work, and after boxing here, she works as a welder. A painter, like a house painter, not like a painter, like she's not an artist.
She's doing union work.
She works at a metal fabrication company, and at one point is a hardware sales clerk at Sears.
Unbelievable.
So if you're one of the 12 people that went into a Sears during that 5-year period or something,
you may have bought some shit.
You might have bought a Craftsman from Tonya Harding. Let me show you these tools. Wait a second. Back up.
Get away from anything that's long in metal.
I don't want to see the ratchet thing. That's long in metal. So October 25th, 26th, 2005, she has a weird fucking day, man. She calls 911 and says she was attacked by 2 masked men who came to her home and assaulted her before she could escape. This is weird as fuck. That happens. And then later on, this is so fucking weird. Okay. Later on that day, she has a roommate. Christopher Nolan is his name, not the director.
Okay.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
He says they're roommates. She says it's her boyfriend. So that's right there.
I wouldn't fuck her. Not me.
No, not me at all. This bitch is crazy. I don't know. She was, apparently there was an emergency call to arrest the man. He was charged with assault and pleaded not guilty. He told deputies that Tonya threw him down and bit his finger when he said that she had too much to drink. Which sounds like her. I'll be honest with you. That kind of sounds like her. He was ordered to stay away from Harding and to avoid alcohol. He's like, she bit, what the fuck? But,
How do you tell her those instructions?
There was more than that, though. She had a small cut over her eye and an abrasion on her cheek. They fought. They got drunk and fought, and they both need to go to fucking jail. Yeah. Sorry, assholes. So that was one of those. 2006, there is a rock opera called Tonya and Nancy, the Rock Opera.
What?
Yes, it is it's Jesus Christ.
I kind of want to see that.
It's kind of interesting. Produced by Tufts University, which is like a really fancy school. Described as a dark comedy, which is awesome. Premiered in Portland in 2008. It was also produced in LA, New York, and Chicago. And the director said they thought that the elements of the scandal reflected life in America, and she hopes that the show would convey public sympathy towards Carrigan, Gillooly, and Tonya Harding.
That is a kind of a fucking interesting thought.
Oh, this is America, man.
It's the white trash rising up to try to beat the
but to never
perfect
actually
everything.
Be able to do it because it doesn't work.
It keeps
never
us down.
Actually happen. No, it's an 80s movie where the good guy never wins.
Right.
Michael J. Fox loses every fucking time.
Our own behavior keeps us back, perpetuating a cycle.
In real life, Michael J. Fox doesn't turn into the wolf. He loses the basketball game and he works at his father's hardware shop for the rest of his fucking life. That's real life.
Until his 40s, where he starts shaking uncontrollably.
And then that's real life, unfortunately. March 2007, this is a fucked up day. Tonya calls 911 at 4:50 a.m. for the first time. She, this is crazy. Recall from a Yakult Towing, which is in northern Clark County.
She works there?
I don't know if she works there or something happened. According to the records, she reported that 4 men and a woman tried to break into her vehicle and stashed weapons on her property, which is very strange. Okay. Tonya tells the deputies here that that these people followed her and a tow truck driver to the tow yard also, and they were like outside. Tonya tells a deputy here that was sent there that she was on new medication and was having an adverse reaction to it once they get there. The deputy called her story implausible and said that she was agitated and glancing everywhere. Yeah. He also said she was, quote, frustrated that others can't see the people she sees. Which, when you're hallucinating, yeah, wow, fucking A. So at 9 a.m., a woman named...
That is my favorite statement of this entire episode.
Frustrated that she can't see the people that she sees, that others can't see the people she sees. That is... pretty hot, solid shit right there.
It's amazing.
That's solid, man. Jesus Christ. At 9 a.m. now, a few hours go by, Linda Wilmot, who's a friend of hers, calls 911 to say a friend of hers, who is Tonya, was at her home, quote, tweaking out seeing animals.
Yeah.
So tripping. This bitch is tripping. Come get her. Yeah, she said she's not violent, but she's tweaking. Right. She's seeing animals.
She's losing her mind.
Yeah, she said a deputy took Tonya home and checked her property, but found nothing amiss, and there was no people trying to break in. The deputy advised Tonya to see a doctor because this is the second official that's told her that. Now, the friend, Linda, said that she wouldn't offer any details about what Harding said or did inside her home because it's probably nuts. She did, but another woman, Linda Lewis, who is Harding's friend and manager, released a statement saying that Harding, quote, had changed her over-the-counter allergy medication.
Her Claritin did this
and it made her hallucinate.
Oh, boy.
Now, Linda Wilmot, her friend, says she doesn't want this to be misinterpreted as something more than a bad interaction between her and some asthma medication. She said, I just want people to know the truth. She was not on illegal drugs, and that's it. Okay. So, I mean, imagine being her friend.
No.
It's like fucking her friend, everything. Imagine all these people.
Just being in her life.
Just being, even her, this is such a mess, I even actually feel for fucking Tonya Harding a little bit, because nobody needs to come up that way, and she's had a rough life, and she was right there.
Yeah.
She's overcoming all of this. It's fucked up, man. I feel bad for her, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Tonya Harding, who the name of her business is amazing.
What is it?
She's the founder of a business called Staging with a Touch of Class, which is definitely not this Tonya Harding, which she does real estate. She stages homes and that sort of shit in the Columbus area. So please use her for whatever, because it's not her fault. Tonya Harding, a supply chain management at Intel in Portland.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit. That
Back
poor
home.
bastard.
Oh,
She's
Jesus.
like, fuck me. We're right next to each other in the phone book, for Christ's sake. This is rough. Tonya Harding, a advertising consultant at Northern Virginia Media Services in Washington, D.C. Tonya Harding, manufacturing controller at Shipmatic in Toledo, Ohio. And finally, this is great, Tonya Harding, a woman who I found in 2014 was arrested for shining a laser light into an unmarked police car in Volusia County.
What an asshole.
And her husband was also nabbed for driving with a suspended license. This is the 12th time it's been suspended for various reasons, according to the report. And this woman's blonde and trashy. It's fucking amazing.
Couple of hillbillies named Harding.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
2008.
You couldn't find anybody that worked named Tonya Harding that worked at like a pipe works?
I wish. Dude, you don't think I looked for that? Are you kidding me? Any sort
that
of
would have been amazing.
Weapons, munitions. I was looking for anything. I really was. I thought the Portland lady was good enough. That was close. That was bad enough. Yeah. And Touch of Class, which is pretty funny. Also, 2008, Tonya becomes a commentator for True TV's The Smoking Gun Presents World's Dumbest.
I've seen that.
So she was, I remember I've seen her on that.
They've got all these comics in there, and then she pops up
and like giggles twice.
And it's the most like boring drip part of the show. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing to say. Also, 2008, the book, The Tonya Tapes, comes out. about her, and it's a biography. It's authorized. Yeah. It is based on recorded interviews with her, and it's a whole book of recorded shit with her. So it's all her shit. And
I'm riveted.
Fucking bought it, and we own it. So
great.
You can read it.
I can't wait.
I have it on Kindle. I'll ship it over to you. It's pretty fucking, pretty solid stuff. It's her life story here. Yeah, I have to buy all these fucking books. That's what you guys don't understand. I'm saying, I give you a line from a book. I had to buy that book to fucking read that shit for that line. It sucks, man.
Tell me what it says in this shit.
Well, there's a lot about her life and her childhood and a lot of excuses. And one thing that comes out that's new information, she tells an interviewer that during the first few days of the Kerrigan investigation, Gillooly and his, quote, goons took her to the mountains to frighten her into silence. He said that Gillooly and his two friends raped her at gunpoint. And Gillooly countered the story, claiming it's completely false. He has no idea what she's fucking talking about.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah.
Why doesn't he sue her for that shit? I fucking would.
That's what I'm saying.
You
if you
can't
didn't
say
do
that
it,
shit about me.
You didn't do it. He changed his name, by the way, to Jeff. He changed his name to Stone when he got out of jail.
Stone Gillooly?
Stone Gillooly. You got it. Absolutely. Stone Gillooly.
He's got a Stone Gillooly.
Yeah, so that's rough.
That is horrible. Why would he do that? Because of prison?
Yeah, Jeff Stone. He's like, Gillooly is...
his last name is Stone.
Yeah,
got
obviously, yeah. Jeff Stone.
No, not obviously.
Well,
I thought you said he changed his first name to Stone.
Why would you leave Gillooly? The Jeff is the problem part. This Gillooly is fine. That's fine. It sounds like a pussy, and it's the most well-known name of a douchebag in the entire country, but I'll keep that. Jeff, not so sure about it.
I'm going with Stone.
Not positive. Going with Stone. So he's now Jeff Stone.
Okay.
She says, quote, it was like 2 days later when things started breaking in the news and the media or police or whatever were involved or whatever. She says whatever a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody said Jeff was involved and I was involved, and somebody else and I was like, well, I'm not even involved. This is what I mean. I don't even know what's going on here. I started thinking that Jeff was involved and trying to tell me what to say and not to say, and that this was what was going on. And I was like, I don't want to be involved in this. I'm not going to say that. And then I went to my attorneys after we talked. I mean, at first there were two attorneys, mine and Jeff's, but then they separated us at one point. When they asked me a question and I answered them, Jeff ended up punching me under the table. And then when we left, he hit me when we were in the car and told me that I was a stupid bitch and I shouldn't open my mouth and all this stuff.
Wow.
So then I had to go in and talk to the FBI or whoever was in charge of this thing. So I started telling them basically what I'd known, and they asked me if I knew what hindering the prosecution was, and I said, no, I have no idea. And they asked my attorney, do you want to tell her or should we? And my attorney told me, Tonya, you've got to be totally straight with these people. Hindering prosecution is not telling them what you know or what you or don't want to tell them everything. Now, she says, and I'm like, I can't tell the whole truth because if I do, I'm going to end up getting the shit kicked out of me, bad or something worse. I said, I want protection. If I'm going to go in there and tell these people what I've heard, then I want to be protected. And he was like, well, we will see what we can do, but you need to go back in and you need to tell them what they know. Apparently, after a bunch of meetings, she claims that Gillooly was abusive and two other men brought her to a secluded mountain spot to frighten her into silence. She said, quote, this is going to shock you really bad. When I got back from the competition before the Olympics, we ended up seeing the lawyers right before I went to see the FBI people to tell them the truth of what I know about the attack on Kerrigan, because obviously that's all that was important to me, was the truth. She said at that point, him, meaning Jeff, and two other guys, don't know who they were because I couldn't see who they were in a different car, decided to drive me up into the mountains. They put a gun to my head and take themselves upon me. And they said, all three of them? And she said, yeah. He stood there and watched the other two men do it. Then he decided to do it too. They said if I didn't cooperate and say exactly what Jeff wanted me to say, that they were going to take me out. I had a gun in the back of my head, and I was raped in the back of a truck of a car, and they told me, this is what you are going to say, this is what you are going to do. And yeah, that's what she says.
Jesus.
So that's a brutal story.
If that's true, that's horrific.
If that's true, that's horrific, and I don't think the statute of limitations would probably be up on a violent rape like that.
I
would hope not anyway. I would hope there would be none on something like that.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. Either he should be arrested or she should be sued. Someone's got to work this shit out legally.
There should be
some consequences for somebody.
Yeah.
Now, August 12th, 2009. This is the most. What would surprise you if I said that she did? What would surprise you?
I don't.
If I said she won election to Congress in Oregon, would you be surprised?
I'd be blown away.
Or would you be like, maybe?
No.
Let's see here. August 12, 2009, she sets a new land speed record.
What?
For vintage gas coupe cars. What the fuck is that? Did you expect me to say she set a land speed record? Is that the last thing you expected me to say?
What kind of land speed record is it, though?
For a vintage gas coupe.
Okay.
She went 97.177 miles an hour while driving a 1931 Ford Model A named Lickety Split on the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Yeah.
Her setting of that land speed record was featured on an episode of True TV Presents World's Dumbest, focused on record breakers.
World's Dumbest.
World's Dumbest, and her. June 23rd, 2010, she marries another guy. Man named Joseph Price that does AC installation.
She is great with just the
she'll meet somebody.
Random ass, like,
she'll find him.
Just grab bag names.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Joseph Price.
Nobody.
Shane Stant. Fucking Derek Smith.
There's just all these random.
Gillooly is the only one, but if he's Jeff Stone, then it's fine. She meets this guy at a place called The Timbers, which is some restaurant up there, bar.
Yeah.
It's video poker, I'm assuming. She told Inside Edition that she was the one who proposed. She says, quote, "It was at his birthday party. I got down on one knee and asked him to marry me." When asked they asked Joseph Price what he wanted people to know about Tonya, he said, quote, "She's kind, she's loving, she's a little rough around the edges. She's a redneck, but she's my redneck."
Yeah.
So there you go. She takes his name, Price, not Joseph.
Right.
She's now Joseph Harding. Have a good night, everyone. I had to make sure. She's now, so she's Tonya Price now.
I love that she says she got down on one knee.
Yeah. She got down on my good knee.
Yeah.
Remember she says, my knee's sore today. You're like, really?
Is it?
Is it? February 19th, 2011, she gives birth to a son.
Oh.
Look at that. First child.
What year?
2011.
Wow.
She is 41, gives birth to a baby boy named Gordon. Her friend says, quote, "She always wanted a baby. She was always told she could never have a child. And guess what? It really is a miracle. It really is very happy." Her mom just told her she wasn't allowed to have a baby. She didn't say that she couldn't. 2014, Nancy Kerrigan finally addresses this whole thing. She talks to Bob Costas and says, quote, "Whatever apology Tonya has given, I accept it. It's time for all of us. I've wished Tonya well. She has her own family. I have my family. It's time that we make that our focus and move on with our lives." She's an adult about the whole thing. In 2017, Tonya stated that she was working as a painter and a deck builder in Washington State. She is photographed, and this is going to be the photograph we're going to use, so you'll see this on the social media. Photographed sitting outside her Washington home, smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee. She is in a Mickey Mouse pajama pants and slip-on shoes and a plaid fleece coat, smoking a cigarette with coffee on her white trash porch with all sorts of shit around. There's a sign that says
"Tchotchkes and fucking hubcaps."
There's a no trespassing sign. There's a scrap metal sign that features a Sasquatch that says "Gone Squatchin'" in her front fucking yard. In her front yard. And
Gone Squatchin'.
Gone Squatchin'. And then they asked her why she moved to Washington out of Oregon. I guess her plans to move back east have been thwarted. She said, Jesus Christ. This is how you know all of her statements have been written by other people before this. Quote, "I moved from Oregon to Washington because Oregon was buttheads."
Oregon was buttheads.
Oregon was buttheads.
Okay.
And she took a big drag and put it out in her coffee and then took a sip.
You bet she did.
January 7th, 2017, by the way, I, Tonya came out, which is this mockumentary type of deal, which I explained a little bit before. It's not meant to be an informational biography. It's meant to be more of just kind of a,
remember when this shit happened?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like I love the 90s movie style, basically here. January 7th, 2018, Tonya appears at the Golden Globes for I, Tonya.
Oh.
Because of that, because it was nominated for awards. They made a funny movie out of it. January 12th.
Surprise, Tonya, your life is a fucking joke.
Yeah. Well, think about this. She's been in obscurity and doing shit, and her husband's doing HVAC work or whatever, and they're doing all this shit. This movie comes out about her. There's interest in her. She's at the Golden Globes on the 7th, so she thinks she's hot shit. January 12th. 5 fucking days go by. She can't let the shit ride for a week even without being a jerk about it. She wants reporters to sign a document before interviewing her stating they won't ask about anything about the Nancy Kerrigan situation. Her agent publicist, Michael Rosenberg, quit over this. He posted on his Facebook page he'd no longer work for her because she was adamant that reporters sign an affidavit stating they won't ask her anything, quote, about the past, or they'll be fined $25,000. What the fuck else are they going to talk to you about?
That's the only thing of interest. Fascinating is that you hired somebody to smash somebody's leg.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Or if you were a great Olympian, then you would have been interesting because you came from nothing to do that, which would have been interesting also. She said, quote, the lawyer said, quote, our publicist said, quote, obviously it doesn't work that way, and therefore I've chosen to terminate our business relationship. Yes, very good. February 26, 2018, she's on the Ellen DeGeneres show there. She says that she's still active in skating and practices 3 times a week, and during the show she performed several jumps and spins. Really? And April of 2018, she announced she would be competing on Dancing with the Fucking Stars, which she did. Other people include Jamie Anderson, who's an Olympic snowboarder, Johnny Damon, the old outfielder for everybody, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which is he's the grumpiest asshole. I've never heard of anyone that likes him. People who played with him, people who know him, press. He's a fucking asshole. I don't know why he would want to be on that. I feel bad for his partner, Lindsay Arnold. She had to put up with his fucking attitude. Let's see. Jenny Finch, remember the softball player. Chris Madser was that's why he's an Olympic loser.
Who gives a fuck?
He's one of those sports where it doesn't matter if you medal.
I thought they were stars.
Don't care. Exactly. Mireille Nagasu, a figure skater, Olympic figure skater. Tonya Harding, Josh Norman, an NFL cornerback, and Adam Rippon, who's an Olympic figure skater.
They really fell down on this Dancing with the Stars bit.
Yeah, and
they
a bunch
stopped getting people that anybody gave a fuck about.
Yeah, she finished. Her and her partner Sasha Farber went to the finals of the competition.
Really?
Yeah, the finals were 2 figure skaters and a fucking NFL cornerback. Who has the best feet? Cornerbacks and figure skaters. I wonder why they'd be great dancers. Running backs win all the time. She danced through a hole. I wonder why. Fucking insane. Adam Rippon and Jenna Johnson were the winners there. But she finished 3rd. That's the last we've seen of her.
She's good at finishing 3rd.
She's good at it always, man. Can't get enough of Tonya Harding? Who can? Go watch I, Tonya, I guess, and see that bullshit. But it's pretty funny. I will say that. You can go on eBay and get an autographed ice skate. A Tonya Harding ice skate autograph for $109.99.
What would it cost to get her reasonable. What if I bought like a telescopic baton? Would she? Do you think she'd sign that?
I was just going to say you could well, 1 second here.
Some jumper cables.
They also have Tonya Harding, a Leaf Masterpiece Cut Signature Auto Signed Autograph. I don't know what the fuck that means, but there's an autograph Tonya Harding with a little smiley face here, and that is I think $14 or some shit. No, $88.88.
Whoa.
They're out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
There's also the Tonya tapes. I feel like none of this is worth it because I feel like for a fucking bus ticket and a night at the Red Roof Inn, you could get her to come to your bar mitzvah for $109.99 at this point in fucking time.
Yeah.
So I don't see what you're doing. Just hire her for whatever. Hire her to like clean out your gutters or build your deck or whatever the fuck she's doing, and then get an autograph while she's there.
What if we get her address and send her like a Ford Hubcap and see if she'll sign that shit for us?
Hey, if you guys, anybody out there can get us a Tonya Harding autographed fucking Hubcap, you will be forever in our debt. We will give you shout outs till the end of time. You get a shout out every week this year, no matter what you do. If you get us a real Tonya Harding autographed Hubcap, that's what you get every week. We dedicate the show to you. That's Tonya Harding.
Wow.
What a fucking disaster. We've been waiting a long time to do that one. I'm glad we waited because we needed the time and the space to do it. So, yeah, that's Tonya Harding. Holy fucking balls. Jimmie's kind of gal.
I can't believe she's lived that life. Like, and you feel
what an eventful life. I feel bad for her. I don't want her. I want things to not be shitty for her because she had a tough childhood.
I mean, she has to think about it every day too. What if she didn't make that decision?
No. What if
that one fucking decision?
What if she wouldn't have done that? Went in, won that championship anyway. went to the Olympics and won a silver.
Right.
She'd be a fucking hero to this day.
Forever.
She would have been on Disney commercials.
Yeah.
She would have been all that shit. Instead,
sure.
she's being made fun of by SNL, not hosting it.
Right.
So it's a lot different.
And being made fun of on fucking Dancing with the Stars.
And
That's a ridicule
everything.
show.
Yeah, that's all. Unless you're an athlete, it's a
Right.
ridicule show. For an athlete, it's like, hey, I still got moves for
Look
an
at
old
me.
guy, huh? Hey, look
I'm
at that.
Jerry Rice. Remember me?
Remember me? Yeah, that's a different thing. Like, hey, I'm still around. Look at me. But that's Tonya Harding. Hope you enjoyed that show. If you did, there is a way to show us.
Yes.
You can go on to whatever podcast app you have. Apple Podcasts would be helpful. The purple icon there.
Right.
And give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't really matter. It's not for our ego, I promise. We don't have one. It's just to help drive us up the charts. So please do that. If you want to do a little bit more, you want to just follow us on social media, very easy to do. At Crime and Sports on Twitter, at Crime and Sports on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, because we just post everything through there. If you want to do all of that, you can find those links right at our website, which is shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to upcoming live shows, January 25th in Seattle, February 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida, at the Improv down there. God damn it, that's a nice club. So get your tickets now to that. Lots of stuff you can do. You can buy our merch there, t-shirts, mugs, everything you can imagine. We're still working on those damn leggings. There's a problem with, it tells you what file size you're supposed to put the thing in, and Sarah puts it in and then it kicks it back, and she's been fighting with this and trying to get a hold of Threadless. And the holidays have been a disaster.
Right.
Nobody gets back to us. So
ringtones are coming too.
We'll figure it out. Ringtones are definitely coming too. Excuse me there.
Yeah.
Definitely coming to. Holidays have thrown a fucking wrench into everything. We got back off tour, and then we had holidays, and I had a million people at my house, and our shit is together. We got this shit coming. Also, too, we're going to be doing some different stuff for Small Town Murder, so listen to that. Definitely, if you want to make a donation and be one of our hero producers, who we're going to talk about in just a moment here, you can do that very easily by, you can go either through our website, shutupandgivememurder.com, or directly to patreon.com/crime in sports, or what the hell, head over to PayPal, make a one-time donation using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, and that is our email. Also, if you'd like to get a hold of us, feel free to use that for whatever you want. And without further ado, I need to hear the list of my most favorite damn people on the face of the earth. Jimmie, hit me with that list.
This week's executive producers are Melissa Chai, Elizabeth Wolfinger, or Wolfinger. Wolves don't have fingers.
Well, yeah.
Ellie Comack, Lisa Coltrane. She's the one that brings. She wears the apron.
Oh yeah. It's the process. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
she's really cool. She got that picture
us.
sign.
It's
Yeah,
so
thank
great.
you. You're
Thank
cool
you.
as hell, Lisa. Thank you.
Amy Spicer, Elizabeth Virak, Michelle Gilbert, Kyle Ellison, Ashley Johnson, Alex Etched, and Chrissy-Ann Castaldi. Thank you guys so much.
You guys are awesome. Honestly, we can't do any of this shit. You're amazing. Thank you guys. You blow us away every week. Thank you so much.
Truly, you're fantastic. The producers this week are Regina Kudajarov. What? Did I do that?
I think you just flowed on that.
Take
like a
that,
bastard.
Regina.
Not bad.
Lauren Demarath, Lauren Ralph. Yes. Jesse Hartman, Patrick Haggerty, Amy Sherrod, Ashley Vio, Gina Ozuna, Josh Manning, Victoria Gabay, Richard Anthony Morris, David Jacobs, Hannah Simmons, Molly Parker, Piatella's OK Welding. This is the second time we had welding in the Crime and Sports episode.
Thank you.
This is fantastic.
A lot of welding going on today. Well, maybe they hired
so much
maybe
weld.
Tonya works there.
Under the Sea Fabrics. Under the Sea Fabrics, Laurel Christic, Russell Tobler, Peter Falconer. Falconer. Yes. Jennifer Anglis, Rob Madursky, Jen Stevens, Mandy Peterson, Steve Schnell, Ben Cartledge. God damn it.
It's simple. It's fine.
It really is very, very simple, and I make it difficult.
That's okay.
Christian Parrott, Laura Johnson, Amy Coleman, Molly Chenoweth, Colby Moore, Zach Eggert, Elizabeth Rafferty, Laura Meister, Janice Hill, Melissa Rauker, Lisa Warren, Demerithue.
Okay.
Yes, I think so. I'm
Demerithau?
sorry. No, there's a YU.
Oh.
Demerithue.
Ooh.
I don't. This one's even harder. Ryaseyev Sergey. I think I got it.
Wow, that sounds like
I did
you
that
backwards.
Or,
Christy Yamaguchi?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's it.
J.A. Nomad, Tracy Runninger. She donated twice, by the way. Thank you so much,
Wow, thank
Tracy.
you. We really appreciate it.
Tony Foster, Chris Hahn, Paul Landis, James Fraker, Kelly Clark, Justin Miller, the Lamkeys, Beth Charlton, Robert Smalley. Is that the guy from the Smalley Effect? I think it is. Maybe not.
David.
Oh, yeah, that's right. David Small. Yeah,
David
you're
Small.
right.
Yeah, we did a show.
That's
but
right.
We were on a show.
I thought
he's a nice guy. Listen to him.
Robert Smalley, Matt Dietrich, Matt Waller. Why did I try to say James?
I don't know.
Matt Waller, Gary Howard, Ryan Stevens, Crystal Lamb, Mike and Jess, Nicole Dainzer, Sarah Jane, Luke Rogers, and Trevor Gordon. You guys really just you figure it out for us, and we can't do it without you. Thank you. Truly thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are the best.
So much, honestly, for everything you do for us. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody, all of our people that have helped us move to a new network and everything. It's been awesome. Thank you to Oren, our agent, who's did an amazing job working stuff out for me, for me. Just for me, not for Jimmie. Jimmie can fuck off. He said, no, Jimmie's not coming with us to the new network. He's got to stay put. You're going to record, but you're on separate networks.
James is half over there, and then my comments on the other one.
They'll go together, but not together. If you listen to them at the same time, it'll make sense. You got to piece it together. It's very difficult. We've made it very hard to understand here. So him for doing that, Sarah for all the hustling she does, doing everything like that, connecting us with everybody and all the work she does for us too. Thanks everybody for this transition, and most of all, thank you guys for being fucking awesome. And what if somebody wanted to hit you with a hubcap, Jimmie? How could they get a hold of you?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And it's been really a wild ride. This past year was really fucking rad.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this year also. Where can they find you? You
can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Find me that way. Don't try to spell it. Don't be a hero. It's not worth it, damn it.
You won't get a purple heart.
You will not get a purple heart or a silver hubcap for this award, I guess that would be. You will get none of that, so don't worry about it. And keep coming back, seeing us every week live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.